All right, well, good morning again, everybody. Appreciate you coming in. I know the weather wasn't exactly the most cooperative, but I really appreciate you being here. I'm very excited for today's content. It is the life and blood of my personal business. The content that we go over today is the kind of stuff that if you implement almost immediately, you will see results. And not only will you start seeing immediate results, but these are the kind of activities that will lead to a long-lasting, sustainable business. So we're going to be covering Power Session 4 and Power Session 5 of 3612-3. The first one is leveraging a powerful contact database. The second one is working with METs. So before we dive into any of this, how is our lead generation coming along? Any success stories? Any good news?
Got a guy. Followed him up on his little lead.
Okay.
And he messaged me back with an cash offer on one of my listings.
Nice. Great. That's awesome.
Just straight out of the first one.
So what did your follow-up look like? Like as soon as that lead came in, what did you do, Jake?
It was actually like 3 weeks ago. I just never saw it. And then I messaged him, talked a little bit.
So I'm going to pause right there and applaud you for not telling yourself, oh, that was 3 weeks ago, you know, it's not even worth it anymore. You still called it, right?
Right.
Okay, and what happened when you called? What did you say and what did he say?
I just called him and said that I saw that you acquired, you know, some information on a house over in the Alden area. Mm-hmm. And he asked me like how an offer would go, mm-hmm. like the best offer situation. And then I kind of like educated him a little bit, and he's like, all right, I got an offer.
Okay.
And then.
Nice. Was it your listing or no?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now he's making an offer on a listing of yours?
Yeah.
So do you think it's going to come together?
Well, it's not. It's at the beginning process. So I got them both kind of negotiating back.
Okay, so you have the potential to have a harder.
Yeah.
Just because you called the guy, answered his questions. It wasn't even timely.
No.
That's good. That's good. I know a lot of people that would have seen that and been like, oh, it's too old. I'm not even going to mess with it. Okay, what else? Anybody else? Nothing good?
No. Work in progress.
Work in progress? Are you talking to people? How's that going?
Good.
Great. What kind of conversations are you having?
I'm just following up with my past clients, you know.
Excellent.
And, hey, just wanted to connect with you. How's your, year been going? Are you guys going south or whatever this winter? And one of my clients died. So that was something I had. Sean actually represented the buyer and he passed away.
Oh my gosh, yikes. That's sad.
He's an older gentleman, so not very unexpected, but we didn't know.
Sure.
And then I did put together a marketing piece, which I think was nice with our Keller Williams is #1. Hey, just wanted to take a moment to thank you so much for your, allowing me the privilege to assist you in your real estate needs.
Perfect. Now, is that going to be a digital market piece that you email out? Is it going to be a direct mail, hard copy piece that you mail out, or have you already done it?
I did it.
You did it. Have you had any responses yet?
I haven't mailed it out, but I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Clients.
Awesome. I would mail it out, and then I would, 3 to 4 days or a week later, follow it up with a phone call and say, hey, you probably got something in the mail for me. I just want to follow up with it and let you know. Thank you so much for everything that you've done to help me in my business and the company overall. Like you've seen that, we recently were able to announce that we're #1 across the board in real estate, and that's in large part due to clients like you, and I so very much appreciate it. Yeah. One of the things we'll talk about today is direct mail is not anywhere near as effective as it can be if you follow it up with personal communication as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. That's awesome. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah. It's a nice piece. I think it'll be attractive.
I'm sure it will be. Anything else? Any challenges? Anything that I can help you walk through or talk through on deals, clients trying to lock somebody down? Yes, sir.
It's kind of in the works. So
okay.
Literally just.
I love stuff that's in the works, Bob.
I just got word that my brother's ex-father-in-law passed away this morning.
Sorry to hear that. Very sorry, and thank you.
He kind of get through that, but his son has been living with him.
Okay.
And there's 4 other siblings.
Okay.
He wants to buy the house.
Sure.
So it's literally up in the air at this point.
Okay.
He's not sure if he can. He's gone through divorce. He's built himself back up. So he's kind of at the iffy point.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if I will represent him due to how it's all, probably represent him. I don't know about the other side. Sure. But I told him, I said, I will work with you, get your CMAs, you know, make sure that whoever you're working with has your and the family's best interest in mind. You know, so I don't know where it's gonna go as far as the listing side. But if, you know, he wants to buy it, you know, I'm gonna try to at least get him signed and represent him if he wants to buy it.
Absolutely.
I might be coming to you with questions of
You just let me know
how all that works out.
We will figure it out. Those can be sticky situations. You know, we have multiple family members involved, etc. But and especially sometimes it's difficult. We as agents, you know, we're like, oh gosh, we don't want to be seen as an ambulance chaser, so to speak. You know, if you use the attorney metaphor. But I honestly think, and I had a conversation with an agent once who helps a lot of elderly people. It's like there's no better time to shine than in difficult situations like that. When there's a loss in the family or there's something hard and difficult, you don't obviously call and say, hey, just heard the news, want to make sure that, you know, I can be the person you go to. But you call them and you express your condolences, and when that comes up, say, hey, here's the deal. I know you guys are going through a lot. There's a lot of stress right now, a lot of things that you're working through. If there's anything I can do to make it easier for you, let me know. I'm happy to provide my expert professional opinion when it comes to the value of the home and things like that. If there's anything I can do for you guys to make it easier, please just say the word. Yeah, that's excellent. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions or anything about that. Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
One quick question.
Yeah.
So I have a property that is under contract right now, it's contingent upon inspection.
You rep the buyer or the seller?
The seller.
Okay.
And they're difficult people.
The sellers are?
Yeah.
They all are.
They're difficult. I won't go into details. It's just kind of a shyster.
Okay.
My listing is going to be expiring on Sunday.
Okay.
It's still in the buyer's hands as far as what they want to do. And I contacted my sellers and I said, you know, we're under contract and I'd like to get an extension on this another 30 days just so that we can see it through.
Right.
And if per chance this doesn't come together, we can get the next person in there right away. And they're like, no. You know, and I'm like, what? So I don't know what their thoughts are. They're just difficult people.
Sure.
And I'm like, what would they possibly be thinking?
Yeah. So how long have you had it listed? Was it a 6-month contract? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this one goes to fruition and they pen, even though the contract might expire, you should still be good.
Right.
One thing I would do maybe in how I approach it is say, hey, either my broker requires or the MLS requires for it to stay on MLS accurately that we extend the contract. And I can
closing date.
Exactly, and I can even put some verbiage in there if this makes you more comfortable that says if for some reason this buyer falls through, that we'll cancel the contract.
Okay.
That might make it a little bit easier for them.
Yeah. Because I won't have any options to do pending. Nothing. Nothing will happen. I don't have any control after it expires.
Right.
Unless they extend it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's you could just because it's kind of an MLS requirement. So hey, here's the deal. I'm not trying to pull anything over on you. This is strictly an association requirement because your home's listed in the MLS. We need to do an extension. My broker requires it as well. It has to at least be, a contract with us until it closes. And if it makes you more comfortable, if I need to add some language in there that says if this transaction falls apart that you can cancel, then I'll happily add that in for you. Let me know if they said push back.
Yeah, they're just.
And if not, man, you just force your signature. Just kidding. Making sure everybody's still awake.
Will do.
Anything else? Okay, great. So I'm gonna jump right to page 5 in session 4's material. And toward the bottom, there is a story from an agent called Bruce Hardy, top producing agent out of Washington. He started his database with 25 people and has grown it to over 4,000 over a 12-year period. He says his biggest breakthrough was when he realized I needed to go out and meet people. What I started to do was build my database. I started prospecting my Mets. That's really what I did. And it didn't take long once I started doing it. I was really astounded at how quickly business started to show up. And oh, by the way, when you're working your database, what do you think your expenses are like? Yeah, they're extremely, you run a very lean business when you are a database-driven business, when you're repeat referral-driven, right? So Kelly, an assistant, or the assistant, I should say, the person who runs the operations, is basically the Katie O'Brien of our team. Her name is Kelly Volks. She went to a mastermind yesterday of a bunch of different administrative assistants on teams that were doing 100+ transactions up in Eden Prairie. And Kelly's takeaway when she came back is she said, I don't know how any of these people are making money. I don't know how they're profitable. I don't know how these operations are profitable. She said, I look at your and Carly's operation, and it's the two of you, really, Carly and her, and you guys will do 50 deals with, about 12 million in volume, and you run a lean business because you're database driven. She goes, I'll listen to these other teams who do really not that much more production than you guys do as a 1 or 2 agent operation, but they have like 7 to 10 people on their team, and an admin, and a virtual ISA, and they're paying for Realtor.com and Zillow, this, that, and the other. She said, I don't know how they're profitable. And I said, either do I. Facetiously, but it's true.
Was it a Keller Williams meeting, or was it open
Yeah,
to
Keller Williams.
everybody?
Yeah, and of course these are successful businesses. I'm sure they're profitable, but the thing is this: when I'm building a business, I want it to be wildly profitable. I don't just want to meet by, and I want everybody on the team to be profitable. And the reason that I want to build my business that way is I know a subtle shift in the market could easily wipe out some of those operations that have such massive expenses on a monthly basis, right? Bob?
Teams, do they split it? Let's say there's 7 on a team,
Right?
they split it 7 ways.
You got no idea. I don't know how they split it. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll take, okay, so let's say you did 100 transactions. Terrible marker. Let's say you have 100 transactions and you've got 10 people on your team. Well, what's 100 divided by 10? Hey, Megan.
10.
10 per, right? That doesn't mean that everybody's doing 10 per. It might mean that some are doing 15 or 20 and some are doing 5 or 6, right? Yeah, but if you've got 10 people doing 10 deals and then you add into that team splits, are those people really making a lot of money? Not really.
I've never seen how a team works, but I was just thinking, if you have a team that's doing the same as basically a 2-person team.
Exactly.
You got a few hard workers and a few that are along for the ride.
Right, and some teams are built that way. That's fine. This is not a judgment on teams and how they operate and run, but what I'm trying to get to the takeaway is this: if you build your database, or if you build your business on your database, it's repeat referral business, your margins are going to be much more healthy than just throwing money at different sources of leads and having massive expenses, right? I would rather, it's the whole argument of, quality over quantity, okay? I think at some point you can maybe get to a point where you have diminishing returns from your database. And at that point, if you are wildly profitable because you've been leading with revenue, then you can start taking some of those profits and investing it in those additional lead generation sources. And then consistently monitoring the ROI to decide, is this a good one? Are we going to stick with it? Are we going to double down on it? Are we going to back off on it? Are we going to try something else? Things like that. That's how I personally do it. We are a database-driven business, but I will experiment from time to time with different sources of lead generation, and then we will measure the ROI. And I put Kelly in charge of holding it accountable. So, I have a website. It's a conversion website. The name of the company, the platform is called Conversion. It's basically a home search website, and I pay a certain amount of money monthly for them to advertise via Google to drive traffic to my website, right? People register, we call them, try to convert them to an appointment and help them, right? I've had a website like that for years. The platforms may have differed, but I've had websites like that for a long time. But very rarely, Bob, did I ever consistently track how many leads per month were coming in. Well, guess who does that for me now? Kelly does, and guess what she noticed? She noticed when it got really slim. So she called the company and said, what's going on? They said, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we're going to make these changes, we're going to do this, this, and this, right? She has done a much better job measuring the return on our investment on the lead platforms that we utilize or that we experiment with, which makes it much more useful and valuable, right? I have a better sense of what's going on in my business because somebody is really looking at it and paying close attention to it, and holding them accountable, holding my marketing or my lead generation dollars accountable, right?
How long has Kelly worked for you?
I think we hired her a couple of Junes ago.
Okay, so she's been your only.
No, we had one before Kelly. Yep, she was awesome too. But Kelly came to us. She just Kelly has changed the game. She already had experience managing and operating. She was the She ran a portion of the admissions office at the University of St. Thomas. And she was kind of already a friend of ours. And so she had managed people, she had operations background, and she was the kind of person that I could just say, Kelly, I need this, please figure it out, and then she would just take care of it, which is what we needed. Okay, the power of a database on page 7, a record of your business success. Your ability to generate leads and therefore grow your business is tied to your ability to amass and systematically prospect and market to a large database of contacts. Truth. The heart of your business is your database, and the heart of your business is regular contact with your database. Don't think of your database as a file or a software program or a simple mailing list. Your database is the record of your business success and its potential. In other words, it is your business. You will use it to record contact information for your leads, track interactions, etc., etc. When you hear of doctors or lawyers selling their practice, what are they really selling? Right, their business, which is their what? Their database, their book of business. When someone says, I'm selling my book of business, what is that a fancy term for? It's their database. Right? I'm selling my database. Their contact database and relationships they've built with people in it. That's what they're selling. Have you ever seen an advertisement for a law firm where it's, you know, Smith and Johnson, and Smith is the old guy and Johnson is some young kid? What's going on in that relationship?
Johnson's running Smith's database.
Yeah, he's on his way out. He's brought in the new guy, and over time they're going to switch it out. He's going to buy out the company from him. Right? It's a passing of the baton.
Is it wise to buy somebody else's database?
It can be. It certainly can be. I would say if you're going to do it, you need to make sure they have a good one that you can measure and track the kind of business that they've seen from their database. And there needs to be a phase-in portion of when you purchase that database. You can't just buy one and then you just start marketing to it. If I'm going to buy Jacob's database, he needs to be making some announcements. There needs to be some co-marketing, some co-messages that go up before I eventually take it on myself.
So I've got one that's retiring that's mentioned it to me.
Absolutely, Bob.
Because he slows down and speeding up.
Yeah. And I would say if you have questions about that or you want to set up a meeting to talk specifically about that, let me know. Because also, if you purchase a database, it doesn't have to be a one lump sum right away. It could also be a referral arrangement. Right? It could be a no money upfront win for you. And if they keep their license active, then they just get referrals. Right? It's all dependent upon how you want to structure it. Page 8. Database tools. The tools that can help you manage your database take several forms. 3x5 index cards, that's the old school version. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The electronic spreadsheet or an Excel or Google Sheets, whatever, Google Worksheet, whatever you want to utilize. We personally utilize Excel. It's the easiest, it's free. We can make all kinds of different tabs. We can auto-populate it. We can create different groups and people that we want to utilize the Excel spreadsheet for. Personal information manager, database management system, a contact management system, or a CRM, client relationship management system. So let me ask you this, which type of database is the best one to utilize?
Whichever one you'll use.
Very good. David must have read ahead.
No.
Just kidding. Whichever one you utilize, that's the best one. Just pick it and use it. The 4 laws of database. Build it, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, and service all leads that come your way. If you look at page 9, you look at the 4 laws, that is literally your job. That's your job, in a nutshell. To build a database, to feed it every day, meaning to add to it every day by meeting new people and making additional contacts, to communicate with it, not irregularly, not haphazardly, but consistently and systematically, and then to service the leads or referrals that come your way. That is your only job in real estate. By the way, that's the 4 laws of just about any profession. If you hone in on these and make these your focus, you will crush it. Build your database, feed it every day, communicate with it regularly, and service the business that comes your way. Service it with a sense of urgency and service it with phenomenal customer service. The sense of urgency is a key portion that sometimes gets lost in the sauce with realtors, myself included, because we're busy or we forget. I cannot underscore enough or emphasize enough the importance of page 9, and it's super simple. If you just make this your focus every single day, you will succeed. You won't just succeed in an average capacity in real estate, you will blow it out of the water if this is what you do. Because not many other realtors are doing it daily. Page 11, building a database. Many agents we spoke with in our research, remember when they first started real estate, they thought for sure that business would just start flowing in the moment they received their licenses. They always thought of real estate as a business of showing buyers houses and putting signs in sellers' yards. They soon realized that real estate is not just the business of servicing clients, it is first and foremost the business of finding clients to service. I personally have highlighted the last sentence of that first paragraph on page 11. They soon realized real estate is not just the business of servicing clients, it is first and foremost the business of finding clients to service. You can be the most professional, knowledgeable real estate in the field, but if you have zero clients to utilize any of that expertise with, it's useless. The key to making the most of your lead gen is to build a database of the people you meet in your business and, of course, stay in touch with them. Over time, your database will become the engine of your business. It will power your lead gen. It will produce a continuous flow of referrals, and in the end, it will be a key financial asset regarding your sales business or that book of business we were talking about earlier. Truth, the size of your real estate business over time will be in direct proportion to the size and quality of your database. I made a note here, don't waste your time and effort by not adding them to your database and marketing to them. If you're going to make the effort to hold an open house and meet 10 people, don't make that a waste of your time. Capture their information and add them to your database and put them on a marketing plan. At the very minimum, capture an email, put them into EX, click 33 touch, or 8x8, or 12 direct, or all three of them, I don't care. And let the system do the work for you. If you do that with enough people over the course of a year, you're going to get 1 or 2 pieces of business from it. And all it was putting them into a database and clicking a button. It literally would take you 30 to 60 seconds to do that. Do it with every single person that you meet. Good morning, good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good, thank you. If you look at page 12, I'm not going to go into the lake metaphor a ton. It's an interesting metaphor, but what I like about it is it demonstrates all the different various sources you can utilize to build your database, or different areas you can draw upon to build that database. Page 13, habit METs and METs. Regardless of the lead gen source, the contact information you gather for your contact database can be classified into 2 fundamental groups, habit METs and habit METs. We're going to talk about the difference of them. Before I do that, let me go over Brad's quote here. Even if you only know 50 or 100 people, they need to be in your database. I don't care if your database is 5 people. It's got to start somewhere, right? Start building it. Category of habit METs. A couple of different groups. The general public, people you haven't met, who you don't know. Or a target group, people you haven't met and don't know. It differs from the general public in that you have targeted them as people with whom you specifically like to do business with. For example, a geographic farm, right? I don't know the people in these neighborhoods. They're habit METs, but they're a target group because my plan is to very strategically convert them to METs through target marketing in that farm area, right? Versus just people that are the general public that you haven't met at all, that you might meet through an open house, for example. METs, network group, allied resources, advocates, core advocates. The first 2 kind of speak for themselves. Let's look at advocates. People who not only have done business with you in the past, but will continue to do so in the future, but will actively bring other people to do business with you as well. And here's the deal. I don't think they have to be people that you've done business with in the past either. I think they're just people that will send you business. I've got, we were talking to some agents just yesterday, and they said, we're doing a client appreciation event. It's our first one ever, and we've invited all of our past clients. We said, that's cool, you know, because we were sharing some knowledge. They said, why is it that you guys invite, you know, people that aren't even your past clients? And I said, because some of our best referrers are people that we haven't even done business with before, but we have a relationship with them. Just this last week, a woman who I know from high school I've never done a real estate transaction with her, but on Facebook, she saw somebody reach out and say, I'm looking to buy a home. She screenshotted it and texted it to me and said, I just recommended you. And I said, God bless you. And you know, by the way, she texted me a couple days later and said, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the coffee card. She said, I hope it actually pans out. I said, it's just a thought that counts. I'm just rewarding that behavior, right? I don't care if we've done business together. I don't care if you've used another agent in the past. If I know you, if I like it, if we have a relationship, you're part of my database and I'm marketing to you and I'm inviting you to stuff. And oh, by the way, when we invite people to our events, we say, bring your friends and neighbors. If anybody you know wants to come, bring them. We've had people bring their neighbors to our events. I love it. This is people that haven't met before. Guess what? Now they're in the database. Now we're marketing to you. Right? I want to be in front of as many people as possible at all times, capturing information and constantly marketing folks. Right? Core advocates not only will do business with you, but they are well-placed, owner of a sports team, executive at a large corporation, a builder, etc., and will send you a steady stream of clients. So you've got advocates, you've got core advocates. Advocates are people who do a great job referring you. Core advocates are people that they're in some sort of position, maybe they're the HOA association president or something. They are just in contact with a lot of people, and maybe real estate comes up often, and they're able to refer you or put you in a position to present to a lot of people on a regular and consistent basis, right? Those are people you want to cozy up next to and treat very well. Page 14. Let's look at the type of business you can expect with your Mets and Habit Mets. So with Mets, you've got repeat, you've got referrals, you've got new business. With your Habit Mets, you've got new business and referrals. Mets and Habit Mets bring you business from three sources. It comes from repeat, referrals, and new. 1 and 2 are the most important, because repeat and referral, that's really where you want to get going. But then you're also going to get new business as well to people that you haven't met before. Mets can provide you with repeat, referral, and new business. Habit Mets provide you mainly with new business, but may provide you with referral business as well, particularly with targeted Habit Mets that have received your branded marketing over time, if you're in a neighborhood farm, for example. Page 15. This is an interesting breakdown of Mets, Habit Mets, the numbers, and what impact it can have on your business. I heard Jacob go, dang. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent provides us with some calculations for how many Mets and Habit Mets you would have to achieve 320 closed transactions in a single year. Why is it 320? Because according to the MREA model and the numbers and the calculations that it builds out, 320 would be the amount you need to do to net $1 million in 1 year. For the Mets, it assumes a 12-to-2 conversion rate. If you put them through an 8x8 and subsequently a 33-touch program for 12 months, consistently, every 12 months. Likewise, the Habit Mets assumes a 50-to-1 conversion rate if you marketed to them with a 12 direct program over the course of a year. So here are a couple of different options in this chart. Option 1, you could have 1,920 Mets in your database and 0 Habit Mets. That'll net you 320 deals per year. Option 2, you could have 0 Mets in your database and 16,000 Habit Mets. Be marketing to them. Option 3 would be a little bit of a hybrid. 960 in your database plus 8,000, or 960 of Mets plus 8,000 Habit Mets in your database. If you simply scale down these ratios for a target of 36 closed transactions in 12 months and work only with Mets, this calculation would indicate you only need 216 people in your Met database to hit 36 transactions in a year. This, however, would not be 100% accurate. You would need to have all 216 people in your database from day one and have already been working them for about a year. In reality, you'll be steadily building your Mets database over time. Right, because if we start from, if day one is today and we start right now, we might not have the 216 yet. And even if we do, we maybe haven't been marketing to them for a year, right? We need to do that to be able to start seeing those results. That's what this is saying. The receiving of repeat referral business from a Mets database increases over time and the number of contacts you have made with them. It will take 2 to 5 years of consistent communication to ensure hitting the 12-to-2 ratio. It's best to follow the model from Ignite and make 10 new contacts a day. Enter them into your database. If you do this alone in 200 working days, you will have 2,000 people's names and addresses in your METS database. Those contacts, when worked systematically, will likely be more than you'll need to hit your goal of 36 closed sides. So right now we're coming upon the end of February, right? So January has how many days in it? 31? How many days are in February? What does that equal? 3, 4, 5, 59, right? What's 365 minus 59?
306.
What is it?
306.
306? Okay. So it's 2018. We still have a couple days left in February, but I'm just gonna, play with some math here. We have roughly 306 days left this year. It is completely feasible that by the end of 2018, you have built yourself a database of 2,000 people or more. Is that doable? Yeah, it is. I mean, you could do more than that if you did 10 contacts a day. But let's say we back out a few days for the weekends and all that fun stuff, right? If you do 10 contacts a day from here to the end of the year, you can hit the database of 2,000 METs. And if you hit the database of 2,000 METs, so what's 2,000 divided by 12?
166.
You have the potential to start building a business that will start doing over 100 deals per year if you build it and you communicate it systematically and consistently. So I would say to you, if you have one goal between now and the end of the year, is to hit at least 2,000 contacts in your database.
So if 306 divided by 2,000 and 306, would do 6.13 a day.
A day?
Yeah, it's easily done.
Easily done. Thanks, Bob. I didn't even have to ask you to do that calculation. I appreciate it. But here's why I break it down, and here's why I make it a focus. Because I know right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in this room, a couple others watching. Not many of you will actually do this. Leanne's already realized she won't do that. Just kidding.
Well, one of the houses I was gonna show just got an offer.
Well, that's okay. At least they let you know. She didn't show it and then find out anyway it had an offer. But so let me reiterate that. If there's one thing that you do or there's one goal you set between now and the end of the year, is to grow your database to 2,000 quality contacts, people that you have met that you're marketing to consistently. Because if you do that, 2 to 3 years from now, there's no reason why you shouldn't be hitting close to 100 transactions per year. So the question is, will you do it? Page 16. Leverage your database to help you establish and maintain regular communication to continually build your relationships with your contacts.
Hey, Zach, can you back up a second?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think the best way is to meet 10 people a day? I mean, to add 10 METs.
Let's look at it weekly. Let's say I've got to add 50 people a week. Okay. Now, what are some things what's a thing I could do on the weekend to easily, get in front of 15 to 20 people? Open houses, right? So let's say that I am consistently doing open houses, and let's say conservatively that allows me to make 15 contacts per week. So then how many more do I have to hit? 35, right? So let's brainstorm some ways. What are some ways in which you can meet 35 new people per week?
Vendors.
You can do allied resources, absolutely. What else can you do? It's a really easy one. Nobody likes doing it. You can go knock on doors.
If you have an open house, you can go around the door, knock ahead of time.
Yeah, circle prospect.
Send cards out, inviting them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can hit, if you're gonna hold some opens, you can door knock around the opens so they actually have a reason to do so. If we start breaking it down and saying, this is why I love this is why I like doing events. because it gives me a high payoff opportunity to hit a lot of people all at once. I do a housewarming for everybody that we close on a buy side, which puts me in front of even more people and grows the database. But it's a combination of door knocking, making your lead generation calls to your 10 people a day and asking them who they know, which can help you reach even more contacts as well. And really just getting out, pounding pavement, shaking hands and meeting people. For sale by owners, expireds, canceled listings. Those are all people you can call, add to the database. You're in a lot of different networking groups, right? Are all those people in your database? So I would, keep working them and have them introduce you to more people. Any other questions? Toward the bottom of page 16, the power of core advocates and what they can do for your business is substantial. Think of them in terms of the 80-20 principle. Out of 20 people, you're going to have 4, 5, 6 advocates that are going to sing your praises because you've done a couple of good things for them. Go discover who these people are. They're going to be the people who will tell others who are thinking of real estate about you in a positive way. 20% of your database can lead to 80% of your business. I have found this to be true. We tend to get referrals from the same people. Some people, they are naturally inclined to do that. They love referring. But the majority of the population, they don't actively refer, right? Like there are some people that if I'm over here talking with Jacob and we start talking real estate and Leanne overhears us, she will get up, come over here out of her way and say, hey, I heard you guys talking real estate. You got to call my guy Zach. He's phenomenal, right? Those are the rare people, but those are the people you really want to find, right? There are some people who, Jacob and I might be talking real estate, Debbie's sitting right there, and I might turn to her and say, hey, Debbie, do you know a great real estate agent? And then she might refer, right? She's not going to go out of her way to do it, but when asked, she might refer. And I want to be the agent that's top of mind so that when she's asked, she goes, well, yeah, there's this guy, Zach, who I get a lot of stuff from on occasion. I've used him before. I've been to a couple of his events, or I've talked to him a couple times. He seems real good. I'd recommend him, right? Here are some sources for building your METS database on page 17. Family, friends, neighbors, school, people you do personal business with, sports, hobbies, networking groups, former employers, coworkers, suppliers, customers, organizations, open houses, door knocking. Everyone we meet goes into our database. Even though someone may not be an immediate buyer or seller, we put all of our bets on an 8x8 plan to stay in touch. Guys, it's a system. And if you just do the system, you'll see the results. Like I don't care if I meet Jacob in some sort of event that has nothing to do with real estate, and we exchange business cards and say, hey Jake, I'm a real estate professional. I'd love to help you if you ever need the help of a realtor. If it's okay, I'd like to send information to people every so often about the market. Most people find it to be useful. It would be okay if I did that with you. And he, like most people, is going to say, yeah, sure. Well, guess what? I take his business card, I put him in the database, I click a button, and now my system communicates with him regularly for me automatically. He has given me permission to do it. That's all we're asking you to do. We're just asking you to do it purposefully every day. Can you do this with other agents, by the way? Yeah. Who might be some agents you would do this with? Every Keller Williams agent or every real estate agent, period, north of Rochester. Or people in Florida too. You could have a database comprised entirely of them. I guarantee you there are more than 2,000 real estate professionals in the Twin Cities. And I guarantee you every 12 months, at least some of them come across potential referrals for Rochester or surrounding areas. And I guarantee most of them don't already know an agent down here. And if they happen to get a piece of communication from you monthly that says, hey, I'm Miss Leanne Rochester, you might get a piece of business or two throughout the course of a year. Jacob's like, I'm writing that one down, I'm going to build my database. And the best thing is realtors want to be found, so you can find their contact information pretty easily. Building your HabitMet database. This talks about title companies and third-party vendors. I'll Go into that in more detail in the next session. Page 21, feed it every day. Use the Ignite model. This is why we teach Ignite first and then 36-12-3. Make 10 new contacts, enter 10 people into your database, write 10 notes, preview 10 homes. In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent research, we realized if you add 10 people a day to your database and do it for 200 working days, it'll give you a database of 2,000 names. And, oh, by the way, that's the database of a millionaire real estate agent. 2,000, get to 2,000 as fast as you possibly humanly can. Make that your goal. Page 22. Expanding your Mets database. Once you have put everyone you know into your Mets database, your next challenge is to expand it. So Megan, I knew your question was coming. Your goal is to meet more people, build those relationships, and ask them for business. The key to adding Mets to your database is to be proactive. By using the prospecting and marketing methods listed below, you'll make contact with new people to add to your database. Phone calls and personal visits with your past customers, others in your sphere of influence, and anyone else already in your Met database. This is vital database maintenance or relationship maintenance. They keep the hard-won contacts you have and collect more meaningful information about them, like their birthdays, anniversaries, birth of children, engagements, etc. Meeting new people through school, church, neighbors, sports, hobbies, community, etc. Open houses, geographic farming or niche farms for sale by owners, expireds, agent-to-agent referrals, internet leads, etc. You will probably not use all these lead generation methods. Focus on methods that are most productive for you and ones which best suit your personality profile. However, which method you use, you should definitely be using a database to help you make consistent personal contact with your past clients, your sphere of influence, anyone else already in your Mets database. Page 23. What to feed your database. Name, home address, phone number, email address, and business card. Don't discount the home address. I used to do that. I used to just go for phone and email, and I wish I would have done a better job going for home address at the very beginning. Do it. It's very easy to do. If you're missing home addresses and you want to get one, it's pretty simple. Send somebody a text message or a Facebook message that says, hey, I'm just updating my my records or updating my contact information for you. You know, what's your current mailing address? People will send it to you, no questions asked. No questions asked. Because people always ask me, well, how do you get that information? Ask for it. Seriously. Or you can use the old, oh, hey, got a new phone, reaching out, just checking to make sure I still have the most updated number for you. Or, hey, I got a new phone, I'm trying to get the number for so-and-so. Do you have it? Could you give it to me? Oftentimes, people love to give you their address because they think one of two things is happening. They're either getting ready to get invited to something or you're going to send them a gift. My gift to you is my marketing material. I'm just kidding. So they'll give it up to you. You just got to ask them for it. The Ford technique, you can utilize this to kind of strike up conversation, relate to somebody. Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It will afford you the opportunity to gather additional information that will help you build your relationship more quickly. What are they looking for? Urgency, spouse's name, personality profile, birthdays, hobbies, interests, children. I'd like to have a sense of someone's hobbies and interests, whether or not they have children, because you know that oftentimes is a topic of conversation, or I'll clue in on, right? If I know somebody is a huge Vikings fan and I'm calling them every so often, I'm going to, or you know, there was a huge game like there was the other day, I might shoot them a text or a message or something to engage with them, right? To make a meaningful connection that brings me top of mind to get her husband maintain my top of mind position. I do that all the time. If I try to, this is something I'm trying to be better about. If somebody is known for something, or I know that they're particularly interested in something, that I might find it funny, I would stop what I'm doing. I'll text them about it or shoot them a message about it, just to kind of stay in touch and maintain that contact, maintain that relationship. Anytime on Facebook we see that somebody had a baby, I screenshot it and I email it to Kelly, and she knows what to do. They get something in the mail from us with a $5 gift card that says, hey, congratulations, you're probably in store for some sleepless nights, you know, have some coffee with us. That's just a small, tiny thing that helps us build that relationship. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they've got family members they won't even send them something. And they're getting something from me. Which, oh, by the way, is a tax write-off. It's an investment in my business and that relationship. That's not why I do it. It's an added bonus or a perk for doing it. But that just goes, it shows people, wow, those guys really care. That's pretty freaking cool. If I'm going to do some business, it's going to be with them. Or if I come across people, I'm going to refer the crap out of them because they're just really good people. They take great care of people, right? Okay, page 26. This has a bunch of different pieces of information that you may or may not want to collect with people. There are a couple ones that are check marked. These are the must-have pieces of information. First off, source. How do you know this person, or how did this potential contact or lead come to you? Why is that an important thing to know or keep a record of? So you know what works, right? So you know what works, what's working well, what's not working well, what should I double down on, what should I invest in more, what should I maybe ease back off on? It's important to track that, right? The referral's name, date referred, name, address, phone, email, don't forget about fax. Contact history, I like to keep notes of interactions with people. Classification for potential referrals, and what database group or groups you want to place them. That's the essential. Adding contacts. Once you have your database set up, you'll need to systematize the way in which you feed it from your prospecting and marketing effort. And you're not just setting up a system to feed it, you're setting up a system to interact with it consistently, right? The 10 contacts a day you're making are likely people from your database, right? When to enter contacts. Enter new contacts into your database anytime, but generally speaking, the sooner the better. Okay, that's an understatement. Right? If you meet somebody today, you want to get them in there and on your marketing plan same day or the next day. Ideally, if you can't, that's fine. Jacob just demonstrated today he can call somebody for 3 weeks ago and write an offer. That's just luck right there. Right? But if you want the best payoff for strengthening that relationship quickly, get them in same day or the next day and get them on that marketing plan right away. Because if you do it a month or more later, that's going to seem weird and out of place a little bit, right? So strike while the iron is hot, so to speak. You want to enter information while it's still fresh in your mind, because you're probably going to make your notes as well. You want to make the notes while you just have that info. Like I will go back and I'll find post-it notes from earlier in the week. And I'm like, how is that? That was only a few days ago. Get them in the system right away. It's going to help remind you of the leads as well. You also want to avoid a backlog of data entry that can feel like a chore. That's why part of your daily 3-hour lead generation habit is set aside for contacts, updates, and entry. Time block this, time block this, time block this. Strike while the iron is hot, like I said before. A prospective customer calls looking to buy or sell a home. Great, capture it immediately. You meet somebody new. Everybody you meet is a potential client. Let me frame it up for you a different way too. Everybody you meet is a potential referral source. I think that's an even more important mindset to have about it, right? Because if my mindset is, oh, everybody's a potential client, well, I think that's a kind of a short-term view. Everybody's as a potential referral source. That's huge. That's the whole purpose of the 8x8, the 12 direct and the 32 trucks, is to take everybody that, all 2,000 of those people or more, and turn them into referral machines for you, because you're that good. Updating contact info. Anytime information for any of your contacts changes, you should update their information immediately. Each time you speak with them, make sure that you still have their updated info, or if you're missing something, that would be an opportune time to ask them. I made a note here to talk about, it's easy to do, like I mentioned before. You can do it anytime, just simply ask, right? If you're really nervous about it, ask just before the holidays. If you're going too soon, it's because you're getting ready to send them a holiday greeting card. So they'll send you the information. Contact history. The more contacts you add to your database, the harder it will be to remember relevant details about their lives, transactions, and I can attest to that. I'm in an even more sticky situation because for the last almost 2 years, everybody that's been doing deals with my team, unless there was somebody that I already knew, I don't know who these people are. I've never met them before. They've done business with my team, but I have not met them. So I got to make sure that in the system, I know who the heck they are, what house they correspond to, when they actually worked with us. like if they're coming to a client appreciation event, I always ask who's coming so I can look at the list and say, okay, do I know all these people? Do I need to do a quick brush up on who they are? When did we help them last? That kind of stuff. Usually I just make sure Carly's right next to me because she'll remind me of people that I should know and I forget. Who's this person here? Every once in a while she gives me bad info though.
You'd never say that in front of her though.
Yes, I would, because she says this about everybody. Oh, we know that person from St. Thomas. No, we don't. You're like, oh yeah, did you go to St. Thomas? No. I mean, that's not what I meant to say. So make notes.
Thank you.
No problem, yeah. Take care. Good luck with those pesky sellers.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you
Sounds good. Page 29, communicate with it in a systematic way. Here's the deal. If you fail to do page 29, all the work you do building your database could potentially be for naught, right? Having a massive database with 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 contacts is useless unless you're systematically contacting it, marketing to it, prospecting it, right? Database isn't something you build and put on the shelf. It's something you build, you leave on your desk, and you work it and touch it every single day because that is your business, right? Put your database to work. The power of one principle for 3612.3 states that you should lead generate for 3 hours every workday. If you work on your database during this time block lead generation, your database will continue working for you throughout the week, the month, the year. I highlight that sentence. Your database will continue working for you throughout the week, the month, and year. If you've got 2,000 plus people working for you daily, weekly, monthly, how powerful is that in your business? That's huge. By investing 3 hours each day talking to people, building their relationship, maintaining their relationship, asking them for referrals, you are literally building an army of people to go out and work on your behalf. Your job every day is just to build that army a little bit more. The beginning of the 3 hours, use your database to identify and prioritize appointments, phone calls, letters, postcards, etc. E-Edge can be helpful. It will do a lot of it for you automatically. The end of the 3 hours, update your database with the results of your lead generation activities while it's all fresh and top of mind. Add any new contacts you've got from your lead generation efforts. Update any existing contact information that has changed. That's your morning. That's your morning. You got your afternoon to do whatever else it is you want to do. Page 30. So this is a very good breakdown because you hear us talk a lot about 8x8, 12 direct, 33 touch, and like, what does this mean? How is it supposed to work? What does it look like ideally? Well, this is a great breakdown for you. It shows you Mets and haven't Mets. My 12 direct campaign is really designed for my minimum effort for have not Mets. I haven't met you, but I'm trying to convert you, or I'm trying to develop a relationship with you, or I'm just marketing to you. I want to hit you with strategic marketing at least once a month throughout the year. That's a 12 direct. A monthly newsletter is an example of a 12 direct. Now my Mets, I've met you, so I'm trying to strengthen a relationship and convert you to a client or referral partner of mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit you immediately with an 8x8. The 8x8 is simply designed to help build and strengthen the relationship. The 8x8 is a more concentrated set of communicated materials over a shorter amount of time. And we're going to go over an example of the 8x8 in just a minute. But the 8x8 is, hey, within the first week, I'm just like, Jacob, I'm here. Jacob, I'm here. I'm just beating him over the head with reminders that I'm in the business and we just met, right? Once he's got through the 8x8 period, I'm going to transition him to the 33 touch, which is a much more balanced over a longer period of time set of pieces of communication that just continue to remind him I'm in real estate. Right? It's a little less in your face. So the whole purpose is to hit him right away with a lot of stuff to edge out anybody else, gain top of mind, gain mind share, and then to maintain it with that 33 touch campaign. Right? That's how they are designed to work in tandem. Now, what you can also do is you can hit somebody hard with an 8x8, And your 33 touch, oh, by the way, includes a 12 direct in there. So part of your 33 touch would be a once a month newsletter, for example. So I'm not saying that you disregard the 12 direct. It's built into the 33 touch for you. So I'm going to say about that page 31. Breaks it down another way. Habit Meds, you're doing your 12 directs, direct mail marketing pieces you send out once a month. This could be an email too. We do our newsletter is emailed. Your Mets 8x8 cements the relationship with 8 touches in 8 weeks after you've made contact. 33 touch maintains the relationship with Mets over a 1-year cycle, begins annually. So you hit them with the 8x8 immediately, you put them on the 33 touch, and that 33 touch recycles every year, right? It's not the same content every year, but it's 33 touches every year. And an E-Edge, the 12 direct, the 8x8, and the 33 touches, they are all a click of a button. You put somebody in your database and you click add to 8x8, and the system does it for you. You click add to 33 touch, and the system does it for you. As a matter of fact, the system is so smart, it will do the 8x8. Once that's done, it will transition to the 33 touch. Then all you have to do annually is go back in there and say, yep, I want them to be on another 33 touch this year.
Is that going with the new Kelly app or whatever?
That will be part of the Keller Cloud and all that fun stuff is people and how to interact with your stuff. So great question. Right now it's a part of E-Edge in your marketing pieces. So you put them in your E-Edge database, and when you do that, you're able to put them on these kind of marketing campaigns.
But with that new app that they came out with?
Yep.
That'll be one of the ththings you could check, or it'll come up.
It'll all be synced up with that. I'd be lying to you if I said I knew exactly how it's going to work at this point. I don't even think they do on the development stages. Good question. So here's the truth on page 31. All three have a common theme: overkill over time. Overkill over time, right? I want to hit you with a bunch of stuff, and I got to do it consistently over time. Why? Because no matter how much frequent and systematic lead generation is emphasized, most real estate agents will still tend to underdo it. You know what's cool about this and why I love it is, so anybody that's part of my database or that I'm connecting with, I'm also linking up with them on social media, right? I'm finding you on Facebook, I'm stalking you, I'm hunting you down, I'm connecting with you. So on my 8x8s, my 33 touch, etc., that is all in addition to the contact we have on social media and Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and any client appreciation events that you come to of mine. Like you are in my database and you're not getting something from me or not interacting with me on almost a weekly basis, that means you went to Afghanistan for a little while or something and you just didn't have connection to anything, the internet, right? It's all designed to just to stay top of mind and build a relationship. That's the whole point of it. Because at the very bottom of the page, it says your goal is to out-touch all other agents. Your goal is to out-touch all other agents. Any other agent that could potentially try to edge your way in there. To build the relationship and win the battle for mind share. That's the whole purpose. Benefits of systemization on page 32. Consistency, predefined, repeatable, and automatic. Not even going to go into detail. The benefits of systematizing it is that it's consistent, it's predefined, meaning especially if you use the E-Edge system, it's all already done for you, and tailored to you, it's customized to you, it's repeatable, and it's automatic. You do it with a click of a button. Here's an example of the basic 8x8. It's a high impact, high saturation technique designed to put you in the #1 position in the minds of everyone you add to your Mets database. The entry point, 8x8 should be the entry point for all Mets in your database, and it should be applied immediately. Don't let that new contact or lead linger. For example, that busy HR executive you met at the luncheon should hear from you before she has a chance to forget about the great conversation that you had. It's a combination of personal visits, phone calls, items of value, and handwritten notes. So basic 8x8 plan. Week 1, send or drop off a handwritten note with your business card. Worst case scenario, you shoot them an email. Week 2, contact the individual by phone to follow up. Worst case, you send them an email. or you can text them. Week 3, send or drop off an item of value. See the list below for suggestions, or maybe it's on the next page, I'll check. Week 4, contact the individual to quickly touch base. Ask if there's anything you can do to help, ask for a referral, ask for an appointment if it makes sense. Hey, this is Zach with Keller Williams. You have a minute. How are you? Did you happen to receive the whatever I sent you? Have you had a chance to look at it? Awesome. The reason I'm calling is to find out if you happen to know of anyone who might be looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate. If not, great, go into your referral script. Week 5, send or drop off an item of value. Again, some of this can be done via email as well. Week 6, contact the individual to quickly touch base, ask if there's anything you can do, ask for a referral or an appointment if it makes sense. Week 7, send or drop off an item of value. Week 8, contact the individual to quickly touch base, ask if there's anything you can do to help, ask for a referral, ask for an appointment, etc. So an example of an item of value. Bob, you brought one up on Monday. What did you just order? Calendars. That's an item of value. Boom. Hey, Jake. Hey, man. Again, it was great to meet you last month. Really appreciated the conversation we had. Just want to drop you a quick calendar. I know you're a sports fan. Hope you enjoy. Hope you find it useful. By the way, if you come across somebody looking to that could use some help in real estate, I've included some business cards. Feel free to send them my way. I promise to take great care. That would take you 60 seconds to write up. It will cost you, I don't even know how much a stamp costs these days. About 50 cents, man, they're getting up there. You drop it in the mail, Jake gets it. Now, Bob, how much would you say each of those calendars cost you?
There were about 8 cents a piece.
Oh, even cheaper than I would have thought. So for like $1, what kind of impact do you think you had on Jacob in that example?
Got one in my car, so I knew it.
I mean, but in all honesty, like think about it. When's the last time somebody has sent you something like that? It doesn't happen often, right? And when it does happen, does it catch your attention a little bit? Yeah. It's that famous thing I always tell people, I want to invite everybody I can to my client appreciation parties, and I hope none of them come. It's the invite that matters more than anything, right? When you're invited to something like, oh my God, I'm just happy that I was invited. Thank you so much for even thinking of me. I can't be there. Okay, that's good. But yeah, it's just the invite that matters, right? It's the same thing. I can drop you something for less than $1 and just say, hey man, maybe you find this useful. Every single touch should have a quick reminder and introductions on how you can give, how they can give you referral business. It's really easy to do in a handwritten note. It's simple. It's very simple. And usually I say something like this: hey, thank you so much for continuing to support our business, or thank you so much for supporting our business. If you come across people that could use our help, please feel free to send them our way. We promise to take great care of them. And we throw a couple of cards in there. That's all. It's not the hardcore, hey, do you know somebody? Send them to me. Just, hey, thanks for supporting us. If you come across people, put them in touch. We'll take great care of them. If you say that to people, 4 to 6 times over the course of a year, do you think you're starting to build some sort of, repetition in their mind when it comes to you? Yeah. Okay, page 34. Here's the example of suggested items of value. Facts about expired lists. So this would be obviously tailored to what you would expect that they would deem most valuable based on the interaction you had with them. Some of this isn't going to apply to the random person you just met at your kid's baseball game, right? Some of it will. Facts about expired listings, getting your home in top selling condition, the home buying process, homeowner's insurance, and your credit history, how to buy a great house, moving tips, checklist, packing list, real estate glossary, helping children cope with the move, renting versus owning, security tips, 7 real estate truths, 6 selling business uncovered, the 10 commandments that apply to, there's all kinds of stuff, right? What's another awesome gift you can give people? I love getting these myself. Keller Williams has a lot of them. A book. A book. Book. Easiest item of value to give. Especially when you're working with business people. Right? You could give the book. It doesn't even have to be a Keller Williams book. It could just be any book. You could find the cheapest, somewhat okay book, and that's like your go-to giveaway book. Right? And that's meaningful, especially when you take it up a notch and you send them a book and you've got a particular page with a post-it note that's bookmarked, and maybe you highlight or you write something and say, hey, this made me think of you in the conversation we had. I think you might find this helpful. Or, hey, I was reading this passage, it made me think of you, and I thought, man, Bob, you should have a copy of this book. I really hope it helps you. Give me a call when you finish reading it so we can catch up, maybe grab a cup of coffee and talk about it. That is doing stuff at a high level. That is taking relationships to a place where no other realtor is. Let's be honest, nobody's doing that. If you're the one and only person that is, and you're doing it with 10,000 or more people, 2,000 or more people, 10,000 would be great. Consistently, then you're crushing it. You are crushing it at that point. Customized 8x8, just another example of how you might go about it. You should have different versions of your 8x8 for various target groups, such as for sale by owners, etc. Here are a couple of different target groups you would utilize an 8x8 with. Open house attendees, what might you hit them with? So open house attendees might benefit from items of value like the home buying process, homeowners insurance, and your credit history, how to buy a great house, moving tips, packing checklist. I mean, these are all items of value you can start sending to people in addition to property listing alerts, right, that you just met at an open house. Because here's the deal. If I go through an open house this weekend and I meet all of you guys at open houses, maybe 2 of you will capture my contact information. Of the 2 of you, maybe 1 of you will follow up. Let's say you both do. But at the bare minimum, Debbie, you might put me up on auto alerts. Jacob, you might do the same, but then you might also start giving me a couple different items of value every few days or over the course of the next few weeks. And you might follow up with some phone calls. Well, who has the better likelihood of getting my business in that scenario? Jacob does. He's providing and demonstrating a little bit more value, right? I mean, Debbie I'll just go take them out. Right?
So what happens if they say they're working with another agent?
You say, great, who's your agent? I have a loaded shotgun. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a friend though. Like they're not. Like,
I don't care. Here's what I say, Jacob. Here's what I ask them. They'll say, oh, I've already got an agent. I'll say, great. Are you already committed to that agent? Have you signed any paperwork with them?
Well, no, because it's their friend.
Well, you haven't? Well, fantastic. Well, what I'd love to do is offer you a free, no obligation, no hassle consultation. Come into the office. You can talk about the home buying process. I'll answer your questions. Help you formulate a game plan that will allow you to be successful. No pressure, no obligation. Least I can do is provide you some information. Would that be helpful for you?
So what if I got one that's already gone, so I can't say that to them?
Already got what?
Like they were at one of my open houses. I got all their information, but they said they were working with an agent, like their friend. But they're not there yet at that stage, so they're not committed to them.
Yeah, I gave them a new consultation.
Do I still call them and try to?
Absolutely. This is what it would sound like. What's your name? Do you remember off the top of your head? Let's say the name is Jake. So ring.
Hello?
Hey Jake, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, I know we met a couple weeks back at that open house. I just wanted to follow up with you. Are you still out looking for a home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still in stages.
Okay, awesome. And how's your search going?
It's tough.
I hear you. It is tough right now. What I'd like to do, Jake, if you think it would be helpful, is have you in for a free, no hassle, no obligation consultation and show you some of the things that we do that make it a little bit less tough for our buyers to go out there and win some of these properties in the competitive market. Would that be helpful for you?
Yeah.
Come on down.
What if they say no?
And I would say, at that point, Debbie, that's if they're just shutting down, then I say, okay, great. Is there anything that would be helpful? I maybe ask that. And if I can tell they're just like no dice, okay, then we're done. I'll still send you automatic emails and so on. Also check in periodically, but if it's a no, it's a no. Great. Do you know of anybody else that might benefit from something like that? Right.
So I can still put them on like an 8x8 or a 33x8?
I would, until they say, hey, no, I have an agent or I've signed a contract with an agent, they're free game. Yep. Or unless they say they're working with another Keller Williams agent, then I would probably tactfully maybe not continue to pursue it. But yeah, absolutely. Make that phone call. I think you'll be surprised with the response that you get. Because a lot of times people do the same thing that when we walk into a department store. And, clearly I walked into a department store, I'm looking for a pair of jeans. And somebody asks, hey, sir, can I help you? Are you looking for anything in particular? And I say, no. I don't know. Why wouldn't I just say, yeah, actually, could you point me in the direction of the jeans at least, right? It's the same thing at an open house. Somebody walks in like, hey, how are you? Do you already have an agent? They say, yes, even though they don't because they don't want to be bugged by you, right? So I don't ask them necessarily, do you already have an agent? What I usually ask is, how are you finding homes? How are you finding out about properties? Well, my agent's been sending them to me. Okay, well, that's probably a pretty clear indication they have an agent versus, oh, we're going online, Zillow, Trulia, etc. Well, now I know you probably don't have an agent based on how you answered that question.
We're not a good one.
Yeah, we're not a good one, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ask them that, A lot of times people would just say yes because they know that'll get jobs their back. But if you're a little bit more sneaky or strategic with that question, you can get a sense for whether or not they really do have an agent. And I always follow up with, oh, we already have an agent. It's great. Are you committed to that agent? Because sometimes there are people that they've been an agent, they've had a conversation with, and believe it or not, they feel like sometimes, oh, well, I'm kind of stuck with this guy. They're not necessarily happy about it, but they talk to him or they show them one house. They feel like you're not stuck with that guy or gal. If you haven't signed a contract with them, you're not stuck. I'll have that conversation. Do you feel committed? Well, gosh, you showed us a property. Awesome. But did you sign anything with them? No. Okay, great. Then you are free to choose whoever you'd like to work with. And oh, by the way, I'd love to apply for the job. Here's what I'd like to offer you. Boom, consultation script. That's okay. And if I want to get a little bit more in the weeds on it, here's how I'm different from that agent. I approach the home buying process with much more methodically in a much more organized manner, which allows you to sit down, have your questions answered first and foremost, and then organize a game plan in conjunction with your timeline that will allow you to be successful. It sets proper expectations. It minimizes stress and alleviates a lot of hassles by just jumping into the process without having some sort of consultation. That's why I do it that way. I think you'll find it very valuable. As a matter of fact, I know you'll find it to be very valuable. What works for you? Page 36, 33 Touch. The 33 Touch is a systematic marketing and prospecting technique that ensures year-round contact with all of your prospects, business contacts, past clients in your database. It nurtures your relationship with the contacts in your database and sustains ongoing communication in a 12-month period. Number of touches, 14. A combination of 14 mailings, letters, cards, emails, drop-offs, etc. 8 thank you or thinking of you cards, especially if you want to get real creepy. Hey, Jake, just thinking of you, buddy. 3 telephone calls. I would like to see at least 4 because I like to call at least once a quarter. 4 personal observance cards, happy birthday, something with a holiday, etc. Okay, well then it says another 4 holiday cards. The holiday cards are the easiest ones to do. Every single touch should have a quick reminder and instructions on how to give you referral business and identify the benefits of working with you. So 12 of your, so notice what's not on here are like monthly newsletters. So 12 of your 14 could be monthly newsletters, or you can have another 12 in addition to these 33 that are newsletters, not to mention any events that you're having, right? None of these have anything to do with events. And every time you have an event, it gives you a reason to reach out to people, right? So each event, I think we did the math on Monday, each event is like 5 additional pieces of communication with your database, in addition to the 33 touches that you're running in your newsletters and your videos and your social media. Succeeding through a 33 touch on page 37. Be consistent, be personal, be long-term. I really struggled with the be personal aspect of things because I like people. I really love people, love interacting with them. I really enjoy it, but I don't like to get too personal, at least not me. Oftentimes when I'm like if I were to have lunch or go to coffee with somebody, at the end of it, if you critically ask them about the conversation, what they would realize is they did most of the talking. Because I just asked questions. And I really didn't reveal a bunch of information about myself because that's just not, I don't like it, it's not the way I am, right? I'm the kind of guy that I don't like you to come to my house. Don't come to my house. That's my place. That's where I go to chill. That's my safe zone. Because if you come to my house, well then I feel like I have to entertain you, right? Like, nothing annoys me more. Like if I'm going home and I pull up in the driveway, I'm like, whose car is that? Who's that? That bugs the crap out of me. Now I'm being somewhat facetious, but there are times where that's like 100% true, right? Or if you're gonna come to my house, you gotta give me some heads up. If you just show up unannounced, we're gonna have problems. So I got things going on. There's things I'm doing, right? I had a whole Netflix binge planned, and now you're throwing that off, right? So, but here's what I've learned: be personal. Get personal with people because it strengthens that relationship more than you could ever imagine, right? So don't be afraid to do that. My mom is somebody that does a phenomenal job at that. She builds a relationship. We're both great relationship builders, but she does it on more of a personal level than I do. I think she has an unfair advantage because she's a girl, so she can hug people a lot more than I can. So that helps out a little bit too, but that was kind of a joke, but Hope I didn't creep anybody out.
Don't take this the wrong way, you better know.
Oh, come on, Bob. I'm gonna tell her you said that. The mistake that a lot of people do is they do one mailing and they sit back and wait for the phone to ring off the hook. And you know that's not gonna happen. Let me give you an example. Somebody gets their license, they send out a letter to everybody in their database, and they think that's the one and only thing they need to do to start getting business to come. Well, great. You send a letter, awesome. You were just top of mind for that person for about maybe 5 minutes for that one day. Right, exactly. So you got to send that letter and then consistently follow up with more reminders that you're in the business. Page 38. Direct mail is the least effective method of lead generation if you don't follow up. It's phenomenal if you do. That's what I told Leanne earlier. When you send out that mailing, awesome. Then follow it up a little bit later with a phone call saying, hey, did you happen to get that mailer I sent you? Awesome. I really just wanted to call and reiterate how thankful I am that you supported our business last year or whatever. Right? Follow it up, follow it up, follow it up. 12 Direct program is a series of direct mail pieces mailed to a target have not met group at the rate of 1 piece per month or cycle over 12 months. Let's go to page 39. Systematizing your database. There's a video on KW Connect called Gary and the Box. Take a moment to watch it sometime this week. In the included clips, Gary discusses how he set up a database management system using a black box and a filing system of index cards. Keep in mind, this was back in the day. This was in like the 80s or the 90s. Computers were not all the rage yet. Okay? So we're talking old school index cards. Gary's story demonstrates there is no excuse not to start building and working whatever system is available to you. However, as your business grows and you begin prospecting and marketing at a grander scale, manually managing all the touches and activities associated with your database can become extremely labor-intensive and time-consuming. Hence, some of the contact relationship management systems that we have to help that. Avoid the technology gap. This is crucial. When technology intended for convenience actually ties us down or steals our time. Raise your hand if Facebook has ever stolen some time from you. Oops. Facebook has probably stolen more sleep from me than anything else out there, right? Because what happens is every once in a while, you know, raise your hand if this is happening. You lay in bed, maybe you go to set your alarm. I'm going to set my alarm. Oh, 2 Facebook notifications. Huh. One hour later, oh, you know what I mean? That just happens, right? It happens. You get sucked in. It's okay if people are getting sucked into your social media stuff. That's what I want, right? But that can be a technology trap where it's stealing our time, or either we're waiting for it to be perfect before we do something, so it's actually causing us to not take action. That's bad. Or it's so complicated that it's just sucking way too much time. That's why I just use Excel. It's easy, it's simple, it's free, but just use it. I don't need some crazy fancy whatever. The point of having a database is to systematize and automate the way you take action and actively seek business. Whichever system you choose, you don't want to spend a lot of time each day configuring it. Your database must not become an excuse for not calling your events. Or you get to a point where somebody else manages your database for you. They just tell you who to call every day, or they do it for you. Here's an example of the cards or some of the information you might want to capture for people for your database, pages 41 and 43. Duties of an agent, page 45, daily duties. We put at least 10 new contacts per day into your database, could be more. Manage your new leads, keep appointments, make calls, write notes, send and receive emails, schedule follow-up activities, manage listings and closings, complete tasks. And number 10 is attend a margarita day. Just kidding. Weekly duties, send letters, postcards, mailers, some of your. So daily activities, you'll notice the number 1 really covers your prospecting. Number 2 starts to talk, number 2 and 3 start to talk a little bit about more marketing, right? Because we are prospecting based, marketing
driven,
enhanced. Points for trying. Yearly duties, seasonal mailers, review and update contact records, etc. So right now, if you're somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of testimonials or reviews from clients, what can you use as a reason to reach out and make a touch? Say again?
testimonial.
Yeah, ask him for one. Ask him for one. How many, so, you did some deals in 17, right? How many deals did you do in 17? 8 deals. Do you have any reviews or testimonials from those people?
5 or 6.
Okay, good job. You call the other 2 lazy people. No, I'm just kidding. Hunt the other ones down. Call them up. Hey, how you doing? Just checking in. Hey, I'm actually going back and trying to capture a bunch of reviews and testimonials from the clients I helped last year. If this would make sense, sometimes you might not want to do that. If it's a terrible experience or you hate the people, I don't know. But hey, I'm just trying to track down some testimonials and stuff like that. You know, would you mind doing one for me? Or can I shoot you an email and ask, by the way, how's life? How's the home treating you? Have you come across anybody that could use my help? If you do, would you send them to me? That kind of thing. Right? That's an easy one to go back to. And they don't even have to be a past client, right? You can just go back and call friends and say, hey, I'm trying to build references or testimonials for people that know me as a person, that I'm a hard worker, that I'm honest. Would you mind throwing together, 3 to 5 sentences that say, yeah, I know Bob, he's a good guy. I would trust him. Great. By the way, do you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell? If you do, could you put them in touch with them? Right? Or, by God, somebody sends you one, call them up. Hey, Deb, it's Zach. I just wanted to take a minute and thank you so much for that testimonial that you sent. That really meant a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you had a great experience. By the way, have you run into anybody that's looking to buy or sell? I'd be happy to take great care of them. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, I think that really works because like when I do the vacation rentals,
Mhm.
it's building up. I would ask them before, I would make sure I'd ask them, did you enjoy your stay? I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks in advance if you leave me a review if you have time.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I always end it with, if you ever want to come back or know someone that wants to come
Absolutely.
back, feel free to join the Facebook page so you can keep up to date on what's going on.
Yeah, because that's a form of database touches.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, it also gets in their mind that, a referral is nice or a review,
Absolutely. They are worth their weight in gold. There is a page 46 talks about Microsoft Outlook, some of the features. Google will allow you to do the same. If you ever have questions about mail merging or emailing a lot of people all at once, let me know. I'll put you in touch with Kelly. She does that regularly for us. Page 47. I don't have enough leads to bother with a contact management system. Wrong. You can do it with just one lead. You have EDGE available to you for free. A contact management system simply records the name, address, phone number, contact information of individuals and puts them into a contact program that automatically causes you to stay in touch. Or it will at least remind you to do things like make the phone calls. Benefits of EDGE, page 48. Action plans, marketing materials, prompts, like a prompt to call somebody, contact information stored in one place, the history of your contacts with or notes, calendaring, appointment scheduling, email integration, automation, lead sourcing and tracking, reports, web-based software, transaction management. Keys to success, use it. Take baby steps if you need to, and listen to it. Part of being on our team means that you get an email in the morning that says, hey, you've got 20 calls to make. Here they are. That's making it as simple as possible. That's using technology to automate that so that, because what I used to do is I'd get into the office and I would spend my time, kind of like you said before, Megan, figuring out who I should call. And then by the time I did that, who knew what time it was or if I got through all of it, right? So if I just show up and I already have a list of the people I'm supposed to call, great. Now all I have to do is power through the list. And if I get it done in less than 3 hours, great. I just freed up some time. Page 50. It's a quote from an agent. We have action plans for every type of contact that we work with, FISBOs, expireds, prospective sellers, etc. Even with more than 50 direct contact types in this database, his customized action plans keep him on top of all of them. We also create action plans for everything from following up with the lead to managing the listing to closing a transaction. You can come up with automatic follow-up campaigns or messages for any sort of target audience or group you want and let it do the work for you. Don't ever delete the lead. Keep it, continue to market to it. They can choose to opt out or unsubscribe if they like. Page 53, service all the leads that come your way. That kind of goes without saying, right? Funnel them. Assign them, source them, and track them. Funneling leads on page 54. Determine which lead generation sources are bringing in leads. Determine which sources are more likely to yield leads that convert to business. Track whether or not leads are being followed up with and how quickly they're being followed up with. Track your conversion rates and reward referral sources. Number 5 is absolutely crucial. Unity in marketing. Make sure that your marketing is somewhat unified. Signs, flyers, ads, direct mail. Are you sending the same message, same slogan, same tagline, same colors? Have unified marketing so it's easily recognizable and you can begin to build brand recognition. Signing leads. Really right now you're just assigning it to yourself. Call it and attempt to close it for an appointment as soon as you possibly can. Or ask for referrals. Sourcing leads, that's pretty self-explanatory. You're just documenting the source of the lead, where did it come from, so you can track your results and see which ones are performing better for you than others, where you should focus more, or where you should focus less. The more efficient you get with your database, the more business you'll generate from it. There's no question about it. Final thoughts on page 59. It comes back to your job, which is to build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, and service all the leads that come your way. Any questions, thoughts, ahas, takeaways from that session? Session 4, leveraging a powerful contact database. Any questions for me at all? Okay, let's pick it back up at 11:05. Short break, we'll pick it back up at 11:05. Excuse me, Mr. Weaver. Jake, what do you got going on this weekend?
I got Bruce and Kelly's client appreciation party in the
Oh,
morning.
nice. So are you kind of joining their team or just kind of working with them a little bit? Or
Yeah, I joined.
good for you, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Thank you.
Great team to join.
Yeah, that's what I've heard so far. But yeah, they seem to, I like it.
I think it is a match made in heaven, man.
Right. I was really going about it. At first, before I even talked to him, I was pretty set on just being a solo agent.
Yeah.
But then after talking to him and kind of realizing, and then thinking about it, that it'd probably be smarter to kind of focus on one thing and learn everything.
Yeah, a lot to learn.
And then model them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I realized I got a couple years to, waste.
There you go. Not to waste.
To
To invest in your education and experience.
Right. Well, what about you? We got.
I've got a birthday party for my daughter on Saturday, and I've got some firefighter training on Sunday.
Gotcha. So you just do you actively do that? Do they when you're on call?
I had 2 calls this morning.
Really?
One at 2 a.m. and one at 6 a.m.
And then you're here?
I'm here. So, we'll find I don't take excuses for people very well.
Right. What happens if, so you say you can't do it when they call you here? Or did you leave?
Absolutely. No, yeah, I wouldn't.
I suppose they would have an out by the way.
Yeah, so it comes right to my phone. Anytime I get a fire call or a pager, and I can click whether I can respond, or if I'm delayed, or if I'm, so if I'm down here, like if one came through right now, I would just click on it.
Right, that makes sense.
But, when you're at home, and especially at night and stuff, I mean, I actually have found that I respond to a fair amount of calls just being at home regularly. It helps that all my family's there too, so I'm kind of always in and around Lakeville, shop site.
All right.
Except for during the workday, of course. Which most people are at work, so sometimes my calls don't come in.
What's that?
So a lot of times calls don't come in during the workday.
True. How'd you get into that?
It's something I always wanted to do, but it wasn't until I moved back into Lakeville, technically, in August that I could apply to be on the department. Because before I lived in Burnsville, which was just out of you have to live within a certain amount of distance to the fire station. So when we moved back to Lakeville, I applied right away. Had to go through selection process and all that fun stuff. And now we got hired, we started responding to calls, we're finishing training. And I'll be done with my initial training the first weekend of March. And then August will be my first year, and then I'll have one more year probationary period before I formally get badged and become a firefighter. But after the first weekend of March, I can respond to any call, which is kind of nice. Meaning I can, right now I respond to the station. If it's a medical call, I hop on the truck and I go. If it was a fire or something, I can't go yet until I finish that training. But come March, I should hopefully be able to respond to fires, car accidents, medicals, everything.
That'd be pretty cool.
It will be.
So you to become a full firefighter, you just taking calls, or you actually gonna put that as your focus?
Yep, pure volunteer capacity.
All right.
Yep.
You are
What's that?
a volunteer fireman?
Yep.
Up in your town?
Yep, in Lakeville. Yep.
So do you have hours that you're on call?
24/7.
You never rush out of a meeting here.
Oh no, because if I'm here, then I just say unavailable.
Oh, you can designate that.
You have to hit a certain amount of percentage
Yeah.
every 6 months, otherwise they kick you out. So. Okay, it's about that time. Let's do it. So the next session, session 5, is working with METs. So a lot of this is going to be somewhat similar. That's why I paired these two topics up today. We're talking database, we're talking METs. So let's dive into this next session. Some of it will be pretty similar to a couple of the things we just discussed, like 8x8s, 33 touches, etc. So I'll move through those a little bit quicker, and I'll get you guys out of here by noon. So I was asking Jake what he has going on this weekend. Anybody else have anything fun going on this weekend?
I'm doing an open house.
Very good. On your listing?
Yep.
Awesome. Did you guys end up doing a price reduction?
We did. Just dropped it a couple thousand.
Okay. What are you priced at?
324.9.
Okay, so you got under the 325 mark.
Yep.
That's good. Have you seen any upticks in showings or anything?
No, it's been pretty consistent for the last month and a half or so. There have been like 2 or so a week, 2 to 3 a week.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Nobody wants it, but
How long have you been on?
4
Market?
months.
4 months. What we might, so talk to me at some point, what you could consider doing is a cancel and a relist at some point.
But don't you have to cancel it for 30 days?
You don't have to.
Oh,
If you do, it might still show your cumulative days on market, but you could still do it just to freshen it up and make it appear new on other websites and stuff like that too. If anybody looks at it, they'll be able to tell it was listed for a while. But
great.
Where's the house at?
It's in South Point.
Okay.
So if you have that much traffic, what's your feedback?
So you
It's
can,
been mainly good
that
that
actually
people,
works.
the
Like,
house
websites
is
that
great
they want
for
out,
them.
like, Zillow and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So
Nothing's consistent, yeah, so people are always like, it's not this, you know,
It's just
different
not
stuff every
good.
time.
We got one offer that was really low.
Debbie swore at us. Okay.
They actually have an offer to Joe's house, contingent upon selling their house.
That's where that came.
Okay, page 4, or excuse me, page 6. Your METS database is a future wealth machine for you. Our problem is we ignore it. We think because we're so charming and good looking, this is some self-talk going on right here. And we are real estate agents, people will remember us forever, even if we don't talk to them. But the human mind will forget you every 16 days. I think that's pretty generous. It's not up to them to remember you're a great real estate agent. It's up to you to remind them you're a great real estate agent. But that saying is that for every time that you become top of mind for somebody, within about 2 weeks, you're going to filter right back out of it, right? So about every couple of weeks or every 16 days, we need to be hitting you with something that just reminds you that it keeps you top of mind, right? So that if these two are having a conversation about real estate, well, if Debbie or Jacob had gotten something from them from last week or so, just reminding them that I'm in real estate, hopefully they'll connect the dots and I'll end up with a text or a phone call. The 2 ways people reach out to me the most to refer business is a text message or a Facebook message. Those are the 2 most common ways. If they're a past client, sometimes they'll shoot me an email and they still have my email address. But more often than not, even if they're a past client, they reach out to me through Facebook. So when I tell you to friend everybody on Facebook, that's why. And save their numbers, because I can't tell you how many times I get a text message and I'm like, who the hell is this from? I have no idea. Right? We don't want to sometimes ask, who is this again? Right?
Who's this new phone?
Yeah, Brad, there you go. See? We're learning. We're learning. I just got my new phone.
You don't want to get a Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, right. The National Association of Realtor Statistics tell us that buyers and sellers do not speak to many agents before selecting the one to work with. In fact, 66% interview just one agent before selecting them. At this critical moment of decision, it's crucial that you have already established top-of-mind status. How will you do this? Consistency and a systematic approach are keys to effectively reminding your database that you're a real estate agent before they hit that 16-day mark and you start to fade from their memory. 8x8s and 33-touch marketing action plans are the tools you would use to stay in people's minds. So here's the other takeaway on that. If 66% of people only interview one agent, what should you definitely be doing during that appointment or consultation?
Ask for the business.
Get them to sign with you. If they're only going to interview one agent anyway, what does it hurt to ask them to sign with you? We know the statistics prove they're only going to interview you. Almost 7 out of 10 people, if they interview with you or have a consultation with you, are likely only going to ever talk to you. So get them to sign. Right, you're doing them a favor. Nobody wants to go have exhaustive interviews with multiple real estate agents. That sounds terrible. Right, so go transition to the paperwork and get them to sign on as a client, because they likely will work with you anyway. They're going to work with the first person they talk with. Don't kid yourself. You can grow a really big business, but just by working your METs. So who are METs or who isn't a MET really? Unless a person is a complete stranger to you and classifies as a haven't met, they are a MET. Meaning anyone with whom you've had personal contact by phone or in person and whose contact information you've collected and fed into your database. Remember, the moment you make personal contact, in person or by phone, a have not met becomes a met. That's why they're called mets instead of friends, past customers, or even knows. The goal is to turn them into people that you know, into friends, and eventually into past customers, right? It's an evolution. Everyone counts, everyone matters. Your mets consist of those you've met today and those you've known all your life. So part of this is, like, I remember one year, so I pulled every yearbook I had, and I brought it into the office, and I told my assistant to find as many of them as she could on Facebook and friend them. Right? Because those are all mets. It's all people that I know, that I have some sort of a relationship with. So we just need to reconnect. So you already have a lot of mets out there that you maybe aren't communicating with consistently, but you can go back and it's going to be it might be easier for you to rekindle a relationship with past mets than it's going to be to find completely new people and turn them into mets, right? Because you probably already have some good quality relationships there that are just in hibernation, that with a little bit of love can very quickly be turned back on. Now, don't get in trouble with your spouse when you do this. The guy without a spouse up here is the one laughing, though.
Sounds like a personal experience.
Oh, well, no. This is being recorded, Jake. Don't get me in trouble. Okay. Your mets are those you've done business with or who you do business with. They may be parents of a friend or of a child. Contacts you've generated going about your real estate business, past customers you've made through open houses, FSBOs, expireds, other agents. Regulars at your favorite coffee shop, people in your community association or religious association, church, etc. Your spouse's workplace. Your database of mets will grow over time as you meet potential home buyers and sellers. Yeah, it'll grow over time if you feed it. The worst thing that could happen to you is you're in real estate for 5 years and your database has stayed the same. Because you've lost 5 years of opportunity to keep building that sucker, right? Every year the goal is to grow it and to get business from it. It should also grow through your intentional efforts. Cultivation of mets is never ending, hence the course called Never Ending Referrals. Gene Rivers, a personal favorite instructor of mine, a consummate networker in Tallahassee, Florida, has found that an all-day, everyday approach works for him. He says, I have built my career around networking for business, seeing people I know on a regular social basis and meeting new people in the process. It's something I'm comfortable with, so it's easy for me to do. Know your mets. Grow your mets. So know them, meaning organize them, keep notes on them, have them in specific target groups, or have target marketing going to them based on their needs. Grow your mets. We've already talked about how part of your job is to add to and feed your database. That's self-explanatory. So sort of creature in this office. How many mets do you want? Okay, page 11 I think is a very, very cool breakdown. If you look at that chart, does everybody see that chart on page 11?
Yep.
Okay, so how many mets do you want? There are no limits to your potential sales growth as a real estate agent. As the chart below illustrates, a consistent approach to working with your mets will ensure a consistent return. Remember that your mets will grow with every transaction you complete, but rapid growth and a corresponding increase in income are yours for the having if you commit to expanding your mets through your prospecting efforts and then build relationship with the 8x8 33 touch marketing campaigns. While your conversion rate may differ from the chart below, the idea remains the same. More is better. And over time, your conversion rate, if you're doing these things correctly, will begin to mirror the conversion rate that they talk about. Remember, they said 12 to 2 is a great conversion rate, but it might take time for you to work up to that, right? Or if you're not doing the 8x8s and the 33 touches the way you should be, then you might not hit that ratio. But look at this. If you have a database number of mets of 216, the 12 to 2 ratio, that puts you in line with your 36 deals, which is the goal of this program. Or, oh, by the way, a gross income, a GCI of approximately 270,000. So our team, Team Lucky Duck, last year did 49 transactions, so just under 50. So if you look at that and you correspond it to the number of Mets, and say we need to have 300 good Mets in our database to do 50. Well, we've got more than 300 in our database. We could probably be doing it better. But I would say the number of people that are consistently getting newsletters from us, coming to client appreciation events, etc., it's probably pretty close to 300. And oh, by the way, look at that. We did 50. We hit the 50 number. So the numbers are accurate. It works. It's true. You do the math. Based on your average commission, how much will you earn when you achieve 36 transactions? I have a good feeling it'll put you over 200 grand, depending upon the markets and what size of the closings you're on, but gross commission. What is networking? First off, it works. 96% of mega agents choose it as their preferred lead generation strategy because it gives results. They consider it 77% more effective than other strategies. Here's the myth. If you build it, they will come. Wrong. All businesses must drive their customers to them. And I added this, or at least afford them the opportunity to. All businesses must drive their customers to them, or at least give their customers the opportunity to reach out or remember them. In real estate, where many established agents rely almost exclusively on repeat business and referrals, the above statement is especially true. The good news is that by diligently working your Mets through the systematic use of the 8x8 33 touch, you will drive people to your business through your prospecting and marketing activities. You can watch your Mets turn into appointments, referrals, repeat business, etc. So about 70 to 80% of my business is repeat referral business. That's where it comes from. 70 to 80%, probably closer to 80%. And that's why I get passionate about teaching the database and repeat referral business. It's way less expensive for us. It's way more fun because you work with people that you already know and like. And has some consistency built into it. So the 33 touch and the 12 direct and the client appreciation stuff, the Facebook stuff, this is what I do, and this is the results that it yields me. So if you're doing the similar activities, you can expect similar results. So here's an interesting note about Bruce. He had just moved from Australia, and he knew almost no one in town. So we started using this script. I send my friends and customers information on the real estate market from time to time. Would you be interested in receiving it? If they say yes, he replied, great. What's your address and phone number? After 10 years of doing this, Bruce has a Mets database of 4,700 people. Early on, he contacted everyone in his database once or twice per month. Today, Bruce capitalizes on proving marketing action plans, 8x8, 33 touch to stay in touch. He phones his core group of Mets at least 4 times per year and persistently asks for referrals. When he meets new people, he puts them on an 8x8 to initiate a new relationship. In 10 years, he built his database up to a quality number of contacts of 4,700. That's not just 4,700 he just downloaded from someplace, blah, blah, blah. No, that's quality. So conversations he's had with people, he's got permission to send them the information, he has accurate information, he's been maintaining that relationship and building it and enhancing it over a decade. I think you can get similar results in 2 to 3 years. It's just how purposefully are you and how focused are you on doing it. Page 14, I like this. People choose to do business with those they know, like, and trust. If they know you, like you, and trust you, there's a better chance of them remembering you, right? Stay in touch with them on a regular basis to communicate your professionalism and value so they know you and know that you're in the real estate business, right? It's one thing for them to know you. They also have to know what you do for work, so they put 2 and 2 together. Establish yourself as honest, hardworking, and caring so they come to like and trust you. Don't wait for business to come to you. Get in front of people you know. Get in front of your Mets on a regular basis to remind them of your value, what you can do for them, your problem-solving ability, your knowledge, your commitment to, them so they remember you. Do not be a secret agent. Don't get caught being forgotten by your network. You can be shocked at how many of your Mets quickly affiliate their loyalties in other places. Do not assume they will stay loyal to you without effort on your part. I put a note here, you have to win the war, you have to win the battle daily. That's what your lead generation allows you to do. Because I've been in the position maybe once or twice where somebody I knew from high school reached out and said they were looking to buy a home. I said, great, stay in touch with them. I don't think we got to a point of a consultation or not. But this is what happens. But okay, great. Jacob, a guy I know from high school, reached out. Cool, I know him. That's a piece of business. I've got your pipeline. We're just working the timeline. Then I reach out again, and I reach out again. I can't get in where I see something on Facebook later where they bought a house without me. I'm like, what the F? Well, who else has a boat? Spouse. Yeah, his spouse, girlfriend, significant other, and guess what? She had a friend that was in real estate too. And so I got lazy and just took for granted. I made an assumption. Oh, well, this guy knows me. He's reached out. We'll do business. And I just kind of left it at that. And said, we'll get around to it when we get around to it. Well, no, you gotta lock that down. You have to have a sense of urgency. Get him in for a consultation and lock it down ASAP. Because you might know him, but the other person that's going to be part of that decision probably knows people too. And if they know another agent, I'm telling you right now, guys get strong-armed way more than the ladies do into using that other agent. So you got to lock them down. Here's what I know. I know if you come and you do a meeting with me, I got a good chance of winning that business. I probably could have won them both over as a couple, but I didn't push for the appointment because I took it for granted and said, oh, it'll happen, it'll happen. Set the appointment, lock them down, don't take it for granted. Always assume the worst. That's a good piece of advice I can give you. If somebody pops up on your radar as a potential piece of business, always assume the worst could happen, meaning they could go somewhere else. So if you assume that, you're going to take the action with some urgency to get them in for an appointment sooner rather than later. Right? I have a tendency for assuming the best. I assume the best, I'm probably going to do business with this guy. Nope. Now did I call him up and say, hey, you're a jerk, how dare you? Yes, no.
On Facebook.
Yeah, okay. No, well, I saw the picture on Facebook and I congratulated him. Guess what? Still going to market to him in the database. Because they probably had a terrible experience. No, I'm just kidding. Because I know that they're likely going to do business again in the future, right? So, you know what? I'm not going to let that face me. I'm still going to stay in touch. I'm going to go after that future business. And this time, with a much more sense of urgency, if they raise their hand again. I'm not afraid to talk about even the mistakes that I've made and continue to make in this business. Page 15, number 2, achieve mind share and be the first person they think of. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And oh, by the way, it's who knows you and what they think of you. Because it's not helpful if they know you and know that you're a slime ball. They need to know you and have a positive opinion of you as well, right? That's a double combination. So always be mindful of the message and the perception that you're giving out to people through your marketing materials, through your social media profile, through how you act in public, right? Keep that top of mind. There are a lot of people out there that if they're not really paying attention to what they're posting on social media, I guarantee you have lost out on business because of it. What's going on right now that's just a raging political topic right now?
Gun control.
Gun control. It's everywhere. You will not find, do I have personal beliefs? Of course. I'm an American after all. But you're not going to find any of my thoughts on the topic on Facebook. Because I know that's an immediate way to polarize half of my potential prospects for business. Right? So if you close with me, your closing gift is a gun or it's, no, I'm just kidding. But you just stay out of it. Just stay away. Yeah, I'm not telling you not to have political beliefs. And if you want to share them, God bless you, go to town, do it on social media if you want to. Just know that you might turn some people off. You might get unfollowed. You might get unfriended. And if you're anything like me, social media is something I use to stay top of mind with people. So I'm about as neutral, vanilla, PC as you can be on Facebook. If you want to find pictures of kids, patriotic stuff, happy clients, that's about all I post about. Puppies, yeah. Haven't quite got there yet, but.
I have one. You want that one?
Yeah.
That one was working.
Oh, no, not mine. Everybody.
Oh, you got a new puppy,
He's a cutie.
Jet.
Is it a girl or a boy? That's what I thought. What's the name?
Jet.
That's an awesome name for a dog.
And for a grandson too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of dog?
He's a Labradoodle. I'm not a fan of poodles, but
they don't shed.
they're not supposed to, and I don't
They
know
still
how
shed,
much.
they're still for a
He's
lab.
he is supposed to be curly coat, but I mean, so far he looks mostly lab. He looks like his mom.
So I'd be posting pictures about that all day long.
Yep, that's what I've been doing.
You already have, that's how I knew you had a dog.
So
See?
then I can
That's-
post something about real estate. And
There you
it's not-
go.
I'm not flooding people with real estate
Absolutely.
stuff.
But that, I mean, that's the power and creepiness of social media, because you posted that probably like 2 weeks ago or more. Yeah, I know, because I saw it for a brief second. Oh, Megan got a new dog, cool.
Here's a picture of your puppy, just happen to have a real estate sign.
In the background, in the background, absolutely. Or what I could do, let's say that Megan was a client or she's in my database and I saw that, I might comment on it. I might call her later and say, hey, I saw you got a dog, that's awesome, super cool, blah, blah. Or if I'm doing something at a super high level, she might get a little something from me in the mail or a chew toy for her brand new dog. Say, congratulations, that's so cool, love it.
Do you know people can register for?
Their dog,
Somebody asked
oh,
me
Lord
if
have
we were
mercy.
gonna have a meet the puppy
Oh,
party, and
like
I was
a
like,
baby
yeah, when it's
registry?
nicer, but, and they're like, well, and then you can register for, I was like, okay, now I wanna do it just cause that's so stupid.
That's
Like, I wanna be able to say, we're registered at Target.
Yeah.
Petco, PetSmart, you can actually register for that. I was floored.
They have birthday parties.
You know what, sadly, that does not surprise me.
That might be in though, if you wanted to, call somebody and say, well, hey, I know this great vet, at least it's
Yeah,
contact.
That's coming from
Or a
contribution.
great groomer, you're giving them,
So
you're not calling for real estate, you're
No,
calling them to tell them all
but
about. a
what
groomer
you're doing
or
right there is you're tying a bunch of stuff together, because what you're doing also when you're building your database is you're building contacts with local businesses to build a referral relationship, right? So you might call and say, hey, oh my gosh, that's so cool. By the way, I want to let you know I know this local vet, he's phenomenal, blah, 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 it's 2 seconds. If you haven't reached out to him, let him know I sent you. And then you hang up the phone and you shoot Debbie a message and say, hey Deb, FYI, I talked to a friend of mine today, the guy who dog, want to let you know if Megan Hobson reaches out to you, it's because I told her about your business and you do a phenomenal job.
And more
High level, strategic,
Out of one dog.
out of one dog.
people are waiting to have kids than they have dogs first.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
then,
usually the outlier
then,
for you.
yeah, and if you want to take it to the next level, you circle prospect all of Megan's neighbors and you say, hey, just Megan got a new dog. It's loud. It's scary. You should probably consider moving. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I know a guy. The National Association of Realtor Statistics tell us buyers and sellers do not speak to many agents before selecting one to work with. Kind of talked about that before. I mean, look at that. So almost 90%. If you add the first two options together, only 90% will talk to only 1 or 2 agents. That's why it's so important to be top of mind. 70% just 1. The other 20% might talk to 2. And you know why they talk to 2? It's because they already know they want to hire you. It's just they've been talking to you to talk to at least one more person. Cause I've been that person that we're just talking to you because we think it's something that we already know we're going to go with this person, really, but we're just talking to you. We're not telling you this, of course. It's already a foregone conclusion that we're hiring my mom, right? But I feel like I need to talk to somebody else too, just to balance it out, or to say that I did, right? It's a comfort thing for them, right? And then those are the most fun to win over. When you can see they're starting to second guess go with the other person. If they already have a friend, Jake. Okay, page 16. Brad Korn, AKA Mr. 8x8 and 33 Touch, says, hey, my job is to get the interview. I know that if 70% of sellers talk to one agent and I'm sitting at the kitchen table to talk to him, I'm going to get the listing 70% of the time. The battle lies in getting to the kitchen table, not once you're at the table. So what is that really saying? Get the appointment, set the appointment. If you set the appointment, you've got a 70% chance or more, if you're really good at scripts, at getting the business, if they're motivated, right? Set the appointment. Use the scripts that we've been teaching you to set the appointment. Make that your focus. And if setting an appointment doesn't make sense, then you ask for referrals, and I'll get to that in just a minute. You must stay in touch. You must stay in touch. And you can automate that to a large degree. Page 17, number 3, Your Mets can get you off the real estate roller coaster. The question is, do you have all of this? This is a great quote to think about. So really think about this one once I say it. The question is, do you have 10 years experience, or have you experienced your first year 10 times? If that doesn't kick you in the face, I don't know what does. The question is, do you have 10 years experience, or have you experienced your first year 10 times? Are you building something? Do you have momentum? Is there something to show for what you've been doing year after year? Or are you constantly starting the year from ground zero over and over again? And how does that feel? Many agents tend to lead generate when business is slow. Once business picks up, however, they cut back on their lead gen in order to service their new customers. And thus, the dreaded ride on the real estate roller coaster begins. Because once the business they generate begins to slow down again, they start a new round of panicky lead generation. It looks like the first chart there on the page. It's what one of my favorite Austin Powers characters would call the vicious cycle. I can't say his name. Your pipeline of leads needs to be full at all times. By leveraging your Mets database, you will be able to generate a steady flow of leads and stop going back to square one in your business over and over again. You'll never be without immediate prospects or buyers or sellers, and your lead generation will look like the bottom chart. It gives you a little bit more consistency, some sustainability, which will ultimately lead to longevity. Page 19, prospecting, making contact through phone calls and visits to ask for business, marketing, letters, postcards, etc. Beware of shying away from making personal contact. Your calls and visits are the glue that will hold these programs together and give them meaning. There's no substitute for a phone call. I will still sometimes talk to people on my team. They'll say, well, we need this, or I haven't heard from this person, or this, and this. And I say, well, have you called them? Well, no, I guess I could. And then I call them and they get it figured out, right? Because everybody's emailing. Call them, pick up the phone and call. Well, I can't get a hold of this other agent. I've emailed them 6 times. Well, have you called them? Call them. Have you texted them? No. Text them. I don't care. Try that. You know what? They'll call them, they get an immediate answer, and they figure it out. Right? Just sending out stuff doesn't cut it. You may get some response, but the long-term relationship is so much better if you follow it up with phone calls. A lead generation is a funnel to Mets. Mets have a higher rate of conversion, so all of your lead generation activities exist in order to generate Mets. That's the sole focus. Systematic tools for networking, page 20. We've talked about the 8x8 and the 33 touch, so I'm not going to rehash those. But what I will say is the name of the game is contact with prospective customers, new and old. The more time you spend touching them, keep it PG rated, people. The more time you spend touching them, the bigger your business will grow. Touches basically mean relationship enhancement or maintenance. Right? That's the purpose of it. Page 21. The 3-hour habit. I'm not going to dive in too deep on this. Again, it's just getting back to the 3-hour habit daily of lead generation and how that is what allows you to get to that 12-to-2 ratio for people in your database. 22 talks about the 8x8 again. You have to be top of mind if you want to get the appointment. That's where the 8x8 comes into play. Again, page 23 breaks down what that looks like for you over that first 8-week period or that first 2 months. You can tweak this, you can customize it, whatever works for you. Just take away the basic principle that you need to be hitting them hard once a week for 8 weeks. And the more items of value, the better. Page 24, 9 tips for, implementing the 8x8 action plan. Number 1, as soon as you've added someone to your network, put them on the 8x8. Sense of urgency, do it right away. Number 2, schedule mailings before your calls. Here's the benefit to that. It makes it easier for you to call, drop by and say, hey, did you receive the whatever that I sent you? If I use the example of Bob earlier and I drop a a calendar, a sports calendar, to Jacob in the mail. He gets that one week, and I call him next week. Hey, Jake, did you happen to get what I sent you? Yeah, awesome. Boom. That's my second contact. Gave me a reason to call. Conversation starting off on the right foot. Right? That's the benefit to sending your mailings before your phone calls. Number 3, make your calls. The prospecting phone calls are essential to the success of the 8x8 system. Gary Keller regularly receives phone calls and emails from people both praising and criticizing the models in his book. Regarding the 8x8, Gary says people will call and say the 8x8 doesn't work. I always challenge them and ask, so tell me how you're doing. I listen and I hear a lot about brochures, letters, magnets, reports. They always say I sent out 8 things in 8 weeks just like you recommended. Here's what I love about Gary. He says, what about the calls and the visits? And then there's silence. You're not doing an 8x8 unless you're doing the calls or the visits or having the personal contact. Once you follow the 8x8 system the correct way, call me back and we can talk about the results. Gary doesn't mess around. Number 4, always offer something of value. One way is to make sure that for the 1 minute of their life you ask of them, they're getting something more than you just interrupting their day asking for a referral. Number 5, schedule the mailings and telephone calls on your calendar in your contact management software so you'll be reminded to do them, or they can just be automated for you. Modify the 8x8 to work for you. Now, this can seem somewhat contradictory to what Gary just said. When we say modify it so that it works for you, it doesn't mean modify it by removing the phone calls, right? It means maybe modifying the items of value, the order slightly, whatever, right? But don't get rid of the phone calls. The point is for you to be systematic as you make contact for the next 8 weeks to become top of mind. Instead of 6 mailouts and 2 phone calls, do 4 mailouts and 4 phone calls. Okay, the one way in which you can modify phone calls is to do more, right? Just don't do less. Substitute a personal visit for 1 or more phone calls. Do 12 weeks instead of 8, but don't do less than 8. For particularly hot leads, speed up your plan by making 8 touches in 3 to 4 weeks. For expired listing, 8 touches in 8 days. Some of it can be lead dependent. Once you have reached the end of the 8x8, move the prospect to a 33 touch program, right? We go from the 8x8 and we're going to move it right over into the 33 touch, and we're going to stay on the 33 touch year after year. Unless they raise their hand again about a particular transaction, then you might put them back on another 8x8 or 12 direct. Conclude every contact with a request for a referral. Take careful notes about what happened, and then add those notes to your database to help you remember the conversation you just had with somebody. Nothing's worse than you're calling somebody back up again and you can't recall what you had just previously discussed. It's terrible. Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if there was something of value that you found works better, like something, maybe some of the things that work better.
Consultation. It's the best item of value I have. Best item of value I have. A home buyer guide, a lot of people like that. Seller tips, people like that. Moving checklist, people like that. Those are our big ones.
Mostly to do with buying and selling, moving tips,
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah, stuff that they're going to find
Valuable
hopefully useful.
info.
Absolutely. Oh, stuff about mortgages, pre-approval, lending type stuff. That's good. Those are the big ones. Great question. No, Jacob.
Honestly, I can't remember now.
It happens, man. Don't worry about it. It'll come through.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Item of value. Memory
Okay,
tools for Jacob. Okay, I already talked about customizing those. Page 27 is a blank template for you if you want to kind of develop or create a customized one. You know, by the way, you might have different 8x8s for different target audiences or different types of leads. Yeah. Page 28. What do you got?
So, like those business cards, you get a
Yes.
business card from somebody?
Yes.
Do you think it's wrong, or like should you not mail them if you can't? If they're renting or something and you don't have their address, would you just call them and try to get their renting address, or can you just mail them to their business address?
But whatever.
But doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would try to get their personal residence if I could and mail there. But yeah, if I only have one address, I'll just whatever address I have, I'll mail to. There's something to be said for sending your items of value and communications, especially mail to people at work. But what do you think that is?
Other people will see it.
Gets it in front of more people. So Gene Rivers always tells a good example of, he will have his courier with all their Ring the Rivers advertising, clothing, apparel and stuff on, going to people's places of business to get documents signed or whatever, or they'll drop off gifts there in their branded coffee mugs. And so all of a sudden, over time, if he sends coffee mugs to his clients every so often, well, in the break room of that place of business, what do you think you'll find? Gene Rivers coffee mugs. Yeah, Jacob's all over that one. Right now.
Copy.
Right. Guess what we give out at closing? I'll show you. Give me 1 second. Yeah, no, not knives. I don't want anybody to commit a murder. So I used to just buy people gift cards to restaurants at closing. I did not like the longevity of that. It was a one and done, right? So now I give them things that are practical that they'll likely use, hopefully on a regular basis, that are branded. And notice this isn't overkill. This doesn't have my phone number on it. Doesn't have my website, my email address, or anything. It's literally just the logo or the brand I want to be seared in their mind, right? And if that sits on somebody's desk and holds their pens, or it's in their cabinet, and every time they open their cabinet, every once in a while, they may or may not use it. They likely won't use it, but if they open it and see it every so often, I'm okay with it. Just a quick flash and a quick reminder about Team Lucky Duck. That's all I care about. This agent says, I call my Mets 3 times a year and mail to them 29 times, and I get 70% of my business from people on my 33 touch. So I have to believe it's effective. Now remember, it's not saying that that 70% is business with those exact people. It's with those people or people that those people have referred, right?
I think it goes 3 times a year.
You said only? That's what I like to hear. Should be a minimum of 4, right? 33 touch action plan is an overkill over time approach. Will ensure year-round contact with your Mets. It means never having to worry about your folks. Now, would there be some times of the year that you might choose to amp up or maybe concentrate even more on how many contacts you're hitting?
Maybe for spring.
Yeah, it might be wise to double it up or maybe make it or oversaturate a little bit come February and March as you're heading into the spring market, right? Because it's naturally a time where people tend to be doing a little bit more, right? So you might want to double your efforts at that time. Double the amount of client appreciation that you have. Basic 33 touch again is listed on page 29 for you. 33 touch, 7 strategies for success. Number 1, plan. Just do it. The longer it takes you to get started, the more money you'll miss out on. Delegate. If you have the ability, delegate something. Have somebody help you or do something for you. Make at least 3 calls a year. Write 3 handwritten notes after each phone call. Hey, it was great catching up with you. Glad to hear you're doing well. If I can ever help you or anybody you know, send some business my way. 24 mailings, 3 phone calls, 3 handwritten notes equals 30 touches. Number 2, give value. Be a giver. Here's another list of items of value you can give. Facts about expires, getting your home in great selling condition, home buying process, how to protest tax evaluation, what's happening in the area, steps to selling your home, 6 selling myths uncovered, 7 real estate truths. You are the best thing that can happen to these people. Stop concentrating on your commission and look at what you can do for your client. Get into curiosity and find out information that you wouldn't have known if you hadn't called and asked a few more questions. Okay, page 32 sums up the mantra that I live by, this quote right here, when I'm interacting with people or making calls or having conversations. Very simple. Remember this formula. The first goal of the call is to get an appointment. If the appointment's not there, then number 2, try to get a referral. If the referral isn't there, number 3, simply strengthen the relationship. When you look at it that way, there's no way to lose. You simply cannot lose. The first goal of the call is to get an appointment. It doesn't always make sense to get an appointment, right? They might not be looking to buy or sell. Well, what is there to have an appointment about? So if that's not the case, try to get a referral. Hey, awesome. That's cool. Do you know of anybody? If they can't think of anybody, which is often the case, that's fine. Thank them. Ask them for referrals. And then just have a conversation with them or figure out a way to continue to strengthen their relationship. That's too easy. I think oftentimes lead generation becomes hard for us every morning because we think we have to make a call and set an appointment. And if we don't do that, we just failed. No, the purpose of your calls is just staying in touch with the people that you know and like. But what we do know is if you do that often enough, you will uncover pieces of business in the process. That's the purpose behind it. Get personal. That's item of values, pop buys, handwritten notes, phone calls, text messages. Number 4, great customer service. Make touches a special part of your standard action plan. Steve Shader of the Steve Shader team has a good method he utilizes here. Every time he does a comparative market analysis on a home, he calls his database in the area with a simple script. He says, hey, I've been doing some research on the market in your neighborhood. Values of houses have improved and gone up. You made a great investment. Nice job for you. It's easy. So what you then might do is say, you know, are you at all curious to get an updated market analysis of your property to see what it's worth these days? That's an easy touch. Or you doesn't even have to go that far. You can just say, hey, Bob, I just want to let you know I was doing some doing a market analysis for somebody in your neighborhood, and it looks like home values have gone up again. I just wanted to pass that information along and congratulate you on making a solid investment. While I have you on the phone, do you know if anybody might be looking to buy or sell? Would love to take great care of them, help them make a solid investment as well. Page 34. A big mistake is to do 1 or 2 mailings and then wait for the phone to ring. That just won't happen. It's all about frequency to a targeted group. I can attest to this. I think I told you guys on Monday, in 2017, we farmed a neighborhood. I spent, I think, $3,000 on 12 mailings to a neighborhood, 100+ homes throughout the year, and had 0 business to show for it. Because all we did is mail them. We didn't follow up with door knocking, we didn't follow up with open houses, we didn't follow up with circle prospecting or anything. Had we done that, I'm confident we would have got better results. So you can't just throw money at it. You've got to supplement it with other things, especially when it comes to direct mail. Be consistent. And here's an example of that. So Bruce, who's an agent, bought a car in 1994. From that day forward, he kept in touch with the car salesman by mailing him something on a regular basis. In 2004, 10 years later, 10 years after he bought the car with this guy, the salesman called Bruce and sold the house with him for $350,000. But here's the interesting thing. Over those 10 years, Bruce purchased 4 cars from other salespeople and never once thought to call his car salesman, the original guy. You see, the salesman didn't keep in touch with Bruce like Bruce had kept in touch with him. Bruce benefited from maintaining consistent communication, and the salesman didn't. Number 6, know your costs. We are constantly amazed at the quantity and quality of leads and referrals we receive from marketing to our Met Group. Our 33 Touch campaign is our most cost-effective way to generate business. You can look at the cost exercise and the breakdown there for some examples and do it for yourself if you would like. Keep in mind that prospecting should always be a mainstay at any stage of your career. It costs less to do. You can always save money by putting more emphasis on prospecting, phone calls, pop buys, rather than marketing. Page 37, modify the 33 Touch to work for you. Like I said before, you can customize it if you'd like. Just don't substitute any of the calls. Page 39, talking about your inner circles and allied resources. This agent says, I'm coming from contribution. I'm happy to send people my business, my dry cleaning, termite inspection, roofing, whatever it is. I just want them to know I would like some business in return. Here's a great script you can utilize with people when you're referring them business or you send them business. So Jacob, let's go back to that veterinarian phone call I made before. Let's say you're the vet. Ring, ring. Hello. Hey, Jake, it's Zach over at Keller Williams. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Hey, I want to call you to let you know, I talked to a good friend of mine. Her name is Megan Hobson. She just got the most adorable puppy I've ever seen. I saw a picture of it on Facebook. I called her up, talked to her, congratulated her, and said, I know of a great vet if she needs to use one. I gave her your name, so if she reaches out, just know that she's got a new puppy and she might be looking for a veterinarian.
Thanks, Zach.
Awesome. Jake, here's the deal. I know you do the same for me.
Yeah.
That's
Have you
the
ever
script.
talked to this vet before? Or
Huh?
is this your first phone call with the vet?
Yeah, It's a
vet you
he's
know.
one of my vets. He's in my database, right? But what was the script that I used on it? Yeah, but what did I say? When you thank me, what did I say?
Oh, I know you do.
I know you do the same for me. That's the Minnesota guilt trip script. But here's how you finish it up. Hey Jake, hey, I'm happy to do it. I know you do the same for me. If you come across anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, could you do me a huge favor and send them that way? I promise to take great care of them. I love helping out other business people like yourself. That's doing it at a high level. That is strategic. Don't be afraid to use that script. Yeah, hey, here's the deal. I know you would do the same for me, right? That's a statement more than anything. It's not saying, hey, would you mind doing the same? No, it's like, I know you would do the same. You can say it two different ways. No problem. I know you would do the same for me. Oh, I know you would do the same for me, right? Okay. Page 42. Advocates. Working with your advocates. Don't entrust this loyalty to their memories as time goes by. They are apt to forget about you and your great service unless you make the effort to remind them. And that is not their fault, by the way. If they forget about you, it's not their fault. Whose fault is it? It's yours for not reminding them, right? Touch them regularly through mail, phone, etc. Send them invite or send them items of value. An item of value might be an invite to a client appreciation party. Be sure to graciously acknowledge each effort they make to refer business to you, regardless of whether it actually turns into a closed sale or not. That was an aha for me. I used to not send people thank yous unless the referral they gave me actually closed, until somebody said that's the dumbest thing you could do. You want to reward the behavior regardless. And I said, well, that makes a lot of sense. So now, if anybody even sends me a hint of a referral, they get a thank you immediately.
I used to teach sales training.
Mhm.
I was a sales manager at Home Design Studio here in town. And one of the sales guys who had been one of the owners of the business, had been in the same business forever, worked with builders, got referrals from builders, past clients, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And when I was telling them to, thank somebody and send a handwritten card, as a thank you, he came back to me later and said, do you know, in all the years I've been in business, I've never thanked someone who sent me a referral. And I'm like, what? So he said, I didn't do what you said. I didn't write a note. Well, partly because his handwriting was terrible and he couldn't read it. But he called somebody and said, hey, I just wanted you to know these people came in, and the person that he talked to said, well, it's the first time you've ever called me. Did everything go okay? But it had never occurred to him.
Right. Because you're busy.
And he said, I bet you anything, that's why some builders have stopped sending me business. He said, I always wondered if I did something wrong.
Right. Yeah. The referral relationship is huge. So calling somebody just to thank them for it or sending them something and saying thank you for it is huge. And it encourages them to keep doing it, right? Because here's the thing, if it is another business person, and you might not be able to reciprocate right away or send them another piece of business, but what you can do at the very least is at least thank them so they're still encouraged to send it to you, right? Thank you for sharing that. If they're an advocate, try to meet with them about once a month, whether it's breakfast, lunch, coffee, whatever. These meetings should act not only as reinforcements of their advocacy, but as subtle networking appointments wherein you're looking for their help in establishing relationships with other advocates, more importantly, core advocates, or how you can help their business as well. So homework assignment for you would be page 43 to brainstorm who some advocates of yours are, and who you'd like to turn into advocates for you. Ask yourself whether or not you met with them this month, and come up with a plan for when you want to meet them next. Page 44 has a sample 33 touch for advocates. Page 45 talks about core advocates. These are the people that you shower with love. because they refer you all the time. And you just love the crap out of them for it. Core advocates are built, not found. Encourage them to do that. What distinguishes core advocates is that they're well placed to provide you with a steady stream of qualified leads. A lender might be a core advocate if they refer you out of business because they're in a position where they're dealing with a lot of home buyers, right? With time and good effort, they can become the core of your business. Working with core advocates, chart a course to develop core advocates by targeting specific individuals you would like to turn into core advocates. Then reach them by getting into relationship with people who are already in a relationship with them. This will get you in the door. Once you finally establish relationships with core advocates, you take two important responsibilities: providing referrals to the core advocate with the highest level of service, and providing the core advocate with some sort of service in return. Page 49, referrals through your database, success through others. According to NAR, an average homeowner owns their home for 12 years. Roughly translated, this means that for every 6 people you know, 1 will be selling their home in any given year. Imagine your database of Mets is 216 people. 216 divided by 6 equals 36 deals a year. Now, for argument's sake, imagine that each one of them only knows 6 people. This means that each person knows of someone selling their home. Of course they know more than 6 people. And if you were to keep extrapolating this, the takeaway is, or what you realize is, if you have such a phenomenal relationship with as many people as you possibly can, and you're actively encouraging them to refer you, and they do so even semi-regularly, the prospect for your business is unbelievable. But you have to put in the work to build those relationships and have the conversations that encourage the referrals. Working for referrals. Educate, ask, reward. Number 1, educate. How many people do you know, even if they know you're an agent, could readily communicate to a prospective referral the benefits of using you as their real estate agent? While you know the value that you can provide to those referrals, do they know the value you provide? This gets back to one of those scripts I talked about before when somebody asks you, hey, how's the market? And you say, hey, well, thank you for asking. The market is unreal right now. People are selling their homes for top dollar. If you know of anybody that's looking to sell their house, please put them in touch with me because I can get them a whole lot of money for it. So you're not just saying, hey, refer people to me. You're saying, hey, I can get people top dollar for their homes. That's the value piece. That's why you should put them in touch with me. Hey, the market is fiercely competitive right now. Homes are flying off the shelf at multiple offers. We really focus on helping our buyers win. So if you've got somebody out there that's looking to buy a property this year, if they want to increase their chances of success, have them give me a call because we know how to get people the homes they're getting after. Right? What's the value in working with you? So educate them on the value that the referred people have in working with you. Not everybody knows how you do business. That's also why I say when I ask for referrals, we promise to take great care of them. That's the value in working with us. We're going to take great care of you. You're going to experience phenomenal customer service, right? I don't just stop and say, hey, could you do me a favor and put them in touch with me? If you put them in touch with me, I promise to take great care of them. Okay, so after you've educated them about the value you provide, you got to ask them. Ask them to send you referrals. I think we've hit that pretty hard. Then last but not least, like I said before, rewards. Treat referrals well. Treat referrals well, but treat the referral sources even better. Doesn't matter if they close or not. Doesn't matter if the referral was rude or not. The person who referred should be showered with love and praise and thanks. How to reward. Practical things most people value. Market stats, etc., etc. Fun things. I would focus on the fun category. Handwritten thank you notes, basket of goodies, movie passes, coffee gift cards, client appreciation dinner or party, personalized gift, one-on-one lunch, etc. If somebody is on a roll and they've got like 2 or 3 or 4 referrals in a year, I'm beyond a coffee gift card. You're going to lunch, or Carly and I are taking you guys to dinner, something, because you are rocking our world right now, and I want to continue to encourage that behavior. We're almost done, guys. Pages 58 and 59 give you some sample 33 Touch advocate appreciation campaigns you can utilize. I think that's would be a brilliant thing to do. Final thoughts on page 61. The average person you see walking down the street will know approximately 200 other people. On the other hand, because of the networking you do as a part of the real estate business, you should know more than the average person. Maybe as many as 300 or 400 people. Use them, don't lose them. Networking works and is one of the easiest and most pleasurable ways to do business. People you already know are much easier to approach and eventually convert to closed contracts. It just makes for a much better transaction experience when you work with somebody that you already know. There's already that level of trust and loyalty. By making a connection with your network through your systematic marketing action plans, 8x8, 33 Touch, you are ensuring a steady stream of leads, referrals, and both new and repeat business. Keep the financial rewards in mind. You may want to clip this table out on this page and post it where you can see it, but don't limit yourself to these numbers. Thinking big will take you to a higher place. In fact, it may help you become the very best you could possibly be. To be your best, think big and aim high. Questions, thoughts, ahas? What do you got for me? None. Any takeaways?
How simple it can be.
Yes, it's simple, not easy. It's simple, not easy. What else? Debbie, look like you have one.
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
Follow up with a phone call when you make some sort of other contact and not just leave it at that. That you should still follow up with
Absolutely.
a phone call.
Anything else? Any other questions I can answer? All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ed.